Hey guys, welcome to Koffee and Kalashnikovs on the Rockford Ordnance channel. I'm Rock, your host, and we're going to talk AKs tonight. How's that sound? Sound good? Let me just adjust here a little bit. Yeah. Hopefully everything sounds okay and you guys can hear me okay. And yeah. How many we got in here? We got a few in here. So we will get going right off the bat. So hopefully some of you saw the video I put out the other day. Demonetized as usual. I wonder, actually, maybe they, let me see. Let me take a quick peek and see if perchance they monetized it. Let's go over there. Sorry, I'm doing a few things behind the scene here. See if they gave me some love. Let's go down to, where are they? Oh, content. There we go. Hey, what do you know? They turned it on after human review. So, of course, all you get the most views the first day, I guess. And, yeah, those are all for naught. But, So this is Koffee and Kalashnikovs. And usually got the peach Red Bull rolling, which I do because it's refreshing. But this is special. So for coffee tonight, there's a thing in Wisconsin, and it's a thing. People absolutely love it. And if you've ever driven through Wisconsin, you've come across one. They are convenience store gas stations called Quick Trip. And if you've never experienced one, you need to. And tonight we're having, oh yeah, Green Bay Packer coffee. It's hazelnut. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. Now, you see that C on my hat, right? This is Veterans Memorial Day hat from Wrigley Field. And I grew up a Bears fan. Well, actually, I grew up a Vikings fan. Family, a lot of family. Half was Green Bay, half was Chicago, and a few, me and my grandfather, Vikings fans. But since we are back full time, what the heck? Unfortunately, it didn't have any playoff fun, but anyhow. So, yep, we got the Green Bay Packer coffee rolling. And just for all my friends in Michigan, I truly, truly, truly was rooting for Detroit because they deserve it. They're like the Cubs of football. Year in, year out, season comes and Lions fans go, it's going to be this year, it's going to be next year. And they hope, and then they go, yeah, just another year. That's what I did with the Cubs for almost 60 years. And one of the greatest nights of my life was when they won the World Series. It was a fabulous night. So I was hoping that Detroit would do it and that we'd have an underdog in the Super Bowl and I'd get to watch it because I got a lot of ties to Michigan. My mom's born and raised there, and I spent a lot of years there going to school and after school, and my daughter went to school there. I love Michigan, other than its governor, but that's another story. Anyhow, this is Koffee and Kalashnikovs, so we've got our coffee, we've got our other caffeinated beverages, and we talk about AKs. We also talk about just about every other firearm and thing that goes on in the firearm world, from 2A stuff to ammo to accessories, you name it. And we've got a few topics we're going to talk about tonight. We kind of use those to lead in. And as always, we take your questions and we talk about what you guys want to talk about, what you bring up in the chat. If you're new, chat away. You'll enjoy it. Nobody's going to make fun of you for a dumb question. All the guys here are pretty knowledgeable, and they all got questions. I got questions. There's stuff they come up with, and I don't know the answer. So nobody's an expert. We're just here to have fun, talk, hang out, and have a good time on a Tuesday night. We will get back to Wednesdays eventually here, but until then, we're going to talk about the Zastava ZPAP underfolder that we had a video on the other night. We're going to talk about the current state of Cugir, however you choose to pronounce it, and Romania and its AK variants that are coming in, and a few problems that have come up. Some say we may lose them. I don't think so. That's not going to happen. So I'm not going to do the fear mongering thing. Please don't go running out and got to get me a Wasser or 10 of them or whatever, because they're going to be around for a long time and they're going to continue to come in. But we'll get into that. You might have seen a video on another channel about it, but it's pretty interesting. Anyhow, we'll go over that. We go over the state of the firearm market, ammo, that kind of thing, what's going on, and we'll go from there. I did have a chance to shoot the underfolder, and we'll talk about that and what happened. But meanwhile, let's go to the comments and see who's here. All's right in the world because Joe Morgan was in first. He says, hi, good to see you. Joe's got a channel. Go check it out. He does a little video series called Eat My Shorts, and it's Joe's take on the world. And it's quite amusing, let me tell you. I was watching one the other day. He was getting ready to go, as he said, adulting for the day. And it was morning. He was coughing up a storm, but I got a feeling I know why old Joe was coughing. I don't know. Hopefully that cough went away, Joe. I'm teasing you. But anyhow, who else is in here? Chase Kelly's in here. Good to see you, Chase. Long time. Kalasher and Ross is here. Very good to see you, Ross. Squeaky Cooler. Yeah, I think they missed the last one. I don't know. But I'm glad he made it in, like as he says on the live version. QT is down in Georgia and South Carolina as well. Always stop there when driving through. Really? So there's something that I've run across, a couple of them called Quick Stars. And I thought Quick Trip stopped at the border of Wisconsin because there was never any in Illinois. I can't imagine why they'd want to do business there anyways. But now they're putting Quick Star. I saw one just over the border. I don't know if they're related, but they sure seem alike. Anyhow, Quick Trip is, there's some videos on it on YouTube, and they show their kitchens. Like they have a main kitchen that feeds all the convenience stores. They have several of them, you know, because it's fresh. You can get everything from filet mignon to roller dogs to fabulous donuts and pastries, and their hot food. You can get dinner to take home, and it's like home cooked. I mean, meatloaf and lasagna and you name it. Just a fabulous store. The people are super nice. Wherever they must have quite a selection process, because I've never seen a lazy person there or a rude person ever. I got to thank them actually for tonight, because we're on the Homestead all day today. I bought a new tractor. Needed a real tractor with a bucket and all that. And new ones are crazy. And anyhow, I bought one, and I think I might have kind of got screwed on it a little bit, because there's a bunch of stuff wrong with it I didn't catch. My fault, I guess, but sort of knew the person. You think if they knew something was wrong, they would have told me. But anyhow, long story short is I go out and try running it, and because all the snow and runoff, I'm living in 2 feet of mud. My road is covered in mud because the construction trucks drag it out over the rock on the road. And my wife got stuck. I buried the truck. we have a lake where the road comes down and meets, and it's about 80 feet across, gets maybe a foot and a half deep in the middle. So I'm going to go clear a spot to drain it, and I got the rear tires off the road, and I'm wondering, why do I have to keep raising my bucket? Well, it's because the front end was sinking, and by the time I realized it, the headlights were almost under the mud. I mean, it was like quicksand, just because that water's been sitting on there for weeks. And this is a heavy tractor. It's almost 4,000 pounds. And the tires aren't loaded. Anyways, I sunk it. There was no getting it out in four-wheel drive, nothing. So I jump off, and of course now I got the lake to deal with, but I managed to get to the edge, but then sunk in mud, walk all the way back, deciding how am I going to get this thing out. My truck is going to have to go into the water, hook up to it, pull out. I'm never going to get it out. Plus the suction we're dealing with now. So the trailer I brought it over on had a winch. I backed the trailer up to it. I hooked the winch to the S end and gave it a yank, and the winch didn't want to pull it. And then I got the bucket up and brought it in close, laid it down, and then curled it and pulled the front tires out of the suction. I put a little more weight on the back, hit the winch till it was tight, and it yanked it because it wasn't even straight to the trailer. I had to yank it like this. But got the back tires up, and then got in the truck, and with the remote let some more cable out and pulled the truck out of the way, and then jumped from the bed to the trailer to the tractor to the seat and yanked it out the rest of the way. I spent a lot of time yanking it out. Anyhow, that was my day. What was going to be a fun day with my new tractor turned into, I got it home and it wouldn't start. Battery was dead. It was fine this morning when it warmed up, but what else? The bucket controller snapped off this little ball thing, so now I can't use my loader. The steering, as I'm going down the driveway, medium speed, I can just keep turning the steering wheel, and all that does, and I'm doing, whatever, 15 miles an hour down the driveway, just keep turning it either way. Can keep turning it, and the wheels don't turn. All it does is hold them from drifting, because they'll want, if I turn the wheel all the way or almost all the way to the left and just sit there idling, I can look down, I'm holding the steering wheel, and I watch my tires go like back to center, sort of. So when I'm going down the road, all my input barely makes it move. Like I have to really crank it fast to get any reaction out of it. And I'm like, we kind of knew this guy. I'm like, would he really sell me this thing without the steering working? It sounds like a valve to me or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really kind of frustrated, pissed at myself for not checking it out better. I kind of trusted him because we knew him, and he said, oh, I'm going to replace these parts that it needs. And he did. Which one of them broke? That was the loader valve. Now I broke it again today. Snapped off the, where it's like a shifter, but you can go left, right, whatever. So it's a 08, and it's a Korean tractor, which I researched, and they're pretty good, TYM. But anyway, spent my whole day doing that. Good news is Carpenter's been here last couple of days. We've got the first floor deck on. By deck, not like a deck, like barbecue deck, the deck of the house. And we've got walls up on two sides. Basement's walls are done, the walkout, and then two walls upstairs. And we're moving right along, man. I can finally kind of see what the layout is. I shot a video. We'll get it out there so you guys can see. But yeah, I should have it closed up in, not this Friday, but maybe the following. I'm at the end of my rope with the mud and just everything. Hauling water back and forth and sewage. And then today I get water. I'm like, where'd all our water go? Did we use that much water? And I heard a pump running after I just put another 40 gallons in there. I run outside and the pump's spurting everywhere. Must have froze last night. Yeah, but didn't freeze in 15 below, but at 27 it froze. Anyhow, it's all leading to one day when it's all done, we will have our range and we'll be back to lots of videos. But the next video coming out, you're going to see shooting the new ZPAP underfolder and on the property here. The video shot, I'll put it together tonight, maybe, if I'm up to it. I had a rough day, man. But yeah, trailers and everything. But let's talk about, I'll kind of give you a sneak peek at the video. So as some of you guys say, I don't want to say I'm the AK guy, because I'm not the AK guy. That's Brandon. But I don't know, someone here always says AK God, whatever. I'm not calling myself that. But the AK guy, and what happens? I don't have any 7.62 ammo. I'm like, how the hell do I not like have a spilled case with 600 rounds laying around here somewhere? You know, I had like one mag with 30 rounds in it, and I'll have to go to storage and grab a case. But then I remembered I brought a case to 2 AEDUs, and the ammo box was left at another storage location. So anyhow, we put 30 rounds through it, and I tested the PMag it came with. I tested another brand of Serbian mag. Let me see if we got it here. Yes. Hold on. I can't remember what these are called. I've never used Unity, AC Unity. I got a deal on something. I got 2 AC Unity mags, a hat, and some other swag for like $8 off of Arms List. They had a deal going. I think they still got it going. Anyhow, seemed like decent mags. Tried them. They ran great. They fit okay. The PMag ran okay. Bulgarian waffle mag ran great and fit. The AC Unity and the PMag got a little front to back wobble. Like there's either the tab is a little thin, or the Zastava maybe took a little too much off the mag release tab. Either way, they ran just great, and super low recoil. I was kind of shocked. I had watched a couple other videos of guys shooting them, and that one guy, it was like barely ejecting, like down by his feet. And I'm like, what the hell is that all about? I was a bit shocked, because I said, well, the spring felt a little softer than usual. And I was wondering, well, you know, that gas block was a little off. I thought, I don't know, or maybe they had, you know, something happened with the gas block, whatever. But mine ejected okay. Not super far, not like Sam 5 far, but a good 10, 15 feet. But usually your average AK is going to, they'll kick 20 feet usually, you know, as far as ejection goes. But it was going 15 feet. So not bad, about perfect, but not overgassed at all. Super short, or super soft, I should say. I was really impressed at how comfortable the recoil was, and the recoil pulse. It was just nice. People don't realize with the underfolders that at the shoulder is a wide space, and it spreads things out. So they're more comfortable than you think. As far as accuracy goes, Zastava has been sighting them in at 25 yards is what the word is. So I figured, well, why not? That's a decent place to start anyways, right? We're just shooting irons. And if you watch the video, I said it came in with the sight pin and barrel moved to the right a little bit. And I thought, oh man, something's off. And in the video, if you guys watched, I said I thought it was the sight block was off a little because the gap was different on each side between the trunnion and the sight block. That's one way also that they can be off a little bit. Not much, but enough. And then you stack something else on it. The more I looked at it, the more the sight block is not the issue. And I just done it quick right there in the video. The front sight was off a little bit to the left, I think it was, and the sight block was pushed right. Well, I had looked at it. You know, if you've ever stared down an AK trying to figure out if your sight block's off or anything, it's almost an optical illusion, right? Because you've got a dominant eye and you're looking down, and even if you're centering it, that dominant eye takes over and you're like, yep, it's off. I can see it. It's off. And it's usually not as bad as you think until you put it on a known level flat surface. And then I take squares, machinist squares, and put them up next to it, one on each side, and I can see the difference. Then you know if it's off or not. But even then, it could be the receiver could be a little off or something. But it's very close to straight. Matter of fact, if that sight barrel had not been moved over to the right at the factory, I would have been like, oh yeah, this thing's straight as an arrow. So anywho, I shoot it at 25 yards, and guess what? 25 yards, 30 rounds are all going 2 inches left. So I'm like, hooray, because why? That means I can move that front sight pin to the left, and it should be spot on. So I go to look for my sight pusher, and it's not in my box. I'm like, oh, God damn, it's in storage. Like everything, I'm so sick of things in storage. Like I go to fix something. I go a tractor, car, a motorhome, a water pump, an AK. Everything's in storage. And it's not like, oh, go down to storage and go. No, it's so packed you can't. It would take you 5 hours to get in there just taking everything out to get to what you need. Most frustrating thing in the world. I will never do this again, ever. But I don't plan on leaving either. So we'll see. As long as the government doesn't get crazy on us here, this state and its capital is very blue. So we'll see. But for now, it's holding. Anyhow, once I get my sight tool, we'll be able to move it over, and it should be damn perfect. So I'm excited. It's shot soft. It functioned flawlessly. And, I talked about that short ejection, or what I kind of said is short based on a lot of other AKs out there. It's not really. And the ammo I was shooting is kind of underpowered to begin with. So it's some Tula or Wolf. It's funny, they're in a Wolf box, but the head stamps say Tula. But yeah, a bit underpowered. So brought it in after that and wiped everything down, opened it up, looked through it. Of course, just would have wiped down. Everything looks still brand new. It's 30 rounds is nothing, literally nothing, but it's functioning smooth. Actually took off the factory stuff. It's amazing. Guys will say, oh, you should swab a barrel on a gun like that when you get it to make sure there's no machining filings, whatever. Well, the factory shot it. But when you wipe down a new AK, the cloth comes off brown black even before you shoot it. And that's just machining oil and whatever they put on it to protect it and whatnot. But it's really dirty, and there is a lot of grit. No matter how much they clean them, it starts to come out between things, So we cleaned it up and oiled it up real good, and it's pretty darn smooth. Everything is pretty darn straight in that thing, because you can tell right away. You see wear patterns start even after just a mag, like on the top of the it's already wearing little bit, but everything's wearing straight, perfect, nice. We're going to go and, I don't know, I'll put 2, 3, 4, maybe 500 rounds through it over the weekend. And then I'll be able to tell you a little more. But trigger's decent. Yeah, everything. It's just really, really nice to shoot. But I'm used to them. I like them. Yeah, and then we're going to compare the M70 AB2, the ZPAP, that, and the fixed stock NPAP all together, and kind of lay them out for you guys, what we think, what we like, what we don't. And if I had to pick one of them, I'll let you guys know which one it would be. So we got one that'll have, 2 that will have well over 10,000 rounds through them. One might be approaching or over 15. One with 30 rounds and another with 500, 800, maybe. I don't know, somewhere in there. Maybe 1,000. I don't know. But I always try to underestimate. I bet I'm probably close at 500 on my fixed stock NPAP. But let you know what we like, what we don't like. If you didn't see the video, I talked about some pros and some cons with this underfolder. So I'll go over them real quick. Pros, I like it. It's always been like, God, I wish I could have one. The master mount pins, and you put the lock nut on the inside. If you don't know how to do it, they can screw up, affect your trigger group. Guys will either not lock them down or tighten things up too much or in a wrong way, and their trigger starts to seize and different weird things. I just don't like master mount. Too many things to go wrong. And other than that, you'd have to go with like a mount that goes in the in place of the front sight leaf or something, which is a good way to do it, or an Ultimac rail, which I never cared for. I don't like the look of them, number one. Number two, I don't know. A lot of guys used to complain about the heat on optics. I never burnt anything on one. I don't know. And I've had aim points on them. I've had primary arms on them. I've had Holisons on them. I just never cared for them. I don't know. But I do like those little pick rail mounts that go on where the sight leaf goes. I think those are great. Why not? Except you do lose your sight leaf then, sort of. But I think they may even have one that has a notch in it. So if you had a quick release or something, you can pull it off and still have those. But anyhow, it's so nice to have a rail. When you take the top cover off, however, though, it does stick up above it. So you got to get used to putting the top cover on and kind of getting it just inside there and whatnot. It's not with a regular Yugo mount, even RS Regulate. It's not going to work, guys. It puts that optic, I'm not kidding you, that high over the dust cover. You will be lucky to chin mount. So you got to get their rail. It's going to be $106. And if it's not out yet, it will be any day. So got to get one of those, and it puts it right over it and gives you enough room to get the dust cover off without taking it off. So hopefully that doesn't matter, because hopefully it holds zero. That's always the big thing, and that's why I use RS Regulate, because they hold zero no matter what. So yeah, there's that. We can put a red dot on it. I really like that rail. It is Yugo it's proprietary to Yugo rifles, Zastava rifles. So you have to use a Yugo mount. And RS Regulate Yugo would work. It's just going to be too high. And I'm sure RS will come out with something anyways. But if this new mount is anything like the Zastava mount they came out with a few years ago, that thing sucks. Frankly, I think they're machined wrong. There's a stop at the end. They don't go far enough forward to clamp right. I think they either screwed it up, and I know the company that made them, and they're famous for Chinese junk, and unless you buy their Pro Series, and then it's made in the U.S., but yeah, not the greatest stuff. So hopefully they got somebody else to build it. I don't know, but it is made in the USA, so maybe it's the same company, just their Pro Series. So we'll see. Anyhow, I like that. I like that they got rid of the notch on the safety, because those are useless. They're always like a millimeter. They could be a millimeter deeper, and they'd hold the bolt handle better. They always seem to slide off or whatever. Just use a flag if you're at a range that requires it. Why not leave it alone? I don't know. It was super tight. Had to adjust it. No big deal. They all come tight. What else? Oh, the bayonet mount. Love having that, because my first AK was a Yugo underfolder, and it had a bayonet mount. And then my NPAP didn't, and my ZPAP didn't, and I was expecting this one not to, so it was a pleasant surprise. Not that you're putting bayonets on all the time, but you display it or whatever, it just looks cool. So why not? And now I got to find a Yugo bayonet, another one. Probably need a couple anyways. They used to be dirt cheap. That was like the cheapest bayonet you could lay your hands on, other than maybe a Romanian, because there just weren't a lot of guns out there, and the ones that were didn't have them. You could buy them for $10 all day long. Now I'm sure there are a lot more, and there's fewer of them. So anyhow, with the popularity of ZPAP, that's an interesting thing too. Talking to Zastava. And they're good guys, man. They invited me to a shoot a couple years ago. If you saw the video, shooting the 90, the M90. I think I was the first one actually to get my video out, even before a lot of the big channels. I just they had that shoot that day. They invited me. I opened an email one morning, and I happened to be off that day, and I shot over there and got to shoot a bunch of stuff. Super nice guys. And I called and got the info, and they said, yeah, it's their 170th year. Can you imagine? There's not many companies, period, let alone arms manufacturers, that have been doing it for 170 years. Holy cow. I think they know a few things about their version of the AK. I got a feeling they do. 170 years. Also, 3 years running, best-selling AK pattern rifles and pistols in the country. Nothing has outsold them in 3 years by far. And that's shocking, because, at one point Cugir had the market cornered. They had so many variants. They had not just the Wasser, but Wasser 10. Back we were talking when they were making them from military parts kits and new parts. And you could get, Zastava's half their line or more is like just, you got a tactical ZPAP, or you got the flame maple, or you got walnut, or they change furniture. And all the companies do that. Arsenal's famous for it. Just, same rifle, another version. Here's a polymer stock. Here's a side folding stock. Here's a triangle stock, And Cugir was no difference. You could get them with the dong, without the dong. You could get the Draco, the Micro Draco, the Mini Draco, AES 10B. On the second go around, first go around, you could get that in a Paratrooper version 2. Earlier, you had the Wasser 1, 2, and 3. There were so many patterns, it was ridiculous, right? And yeah, they'd make weird stuff with all the different furniture patterns too, and they just sold like crazy. They were everywhere. Everywhere you turned, there was Wassers. And for years now, it's almost like a rarity to walk in a shop and see a Wasser. They got everything else, but hard to find a Wasser if you wanted one. It was the second rifle I bought, and it's my least shot of all of my AKs. Just don't care for that particular rifle. I keep saying I'm going to get another one. Why? Well, it's really a true to form AKM, right? It accepts everything and anything under the sun as far as accessories, furniture, all kinds of stuff. And it's, like I said, true to form. So I haven't shot one of the new ones. I haven't shot anything Wasser-wise other than two guns from that same period. My AES-10B, which I don't count that. My paratrooper that I got the kit done by Two Rivers, and my mini Draco. But as far as Wassers go, no, just the two, mine and my buddy Jake's that we got and had fixed a few problems on. But they just don't do anything for me. And mine is kind of a screwed up rifle, just built poorly. But the new ones, I figure, why not? Worst case scenario, just make it a shooter, right? And I can do what I want with it furniture-wise and all of that. Collectability-wise, who cares? So just beat the snot out of it. Keep saying I'm going to get one, but I haven't. But if you were in the market, I told you in that video, and I tell you all the time, if you're a first-time buyer, get an import. Why? Because they could go away. Not just government, but when we talk about what's going on with Cougar, maybe they stop bringing them in for a little while or something. Who knows? You can always get American stuff. So get the imports while you can. And second to ZPAP, I would take a Wasser for somebody first-time buyer looking to have one AK pattern rifle. That's what I do. It's got ZPAP beat. You know, they all got good points and bad points, but it's got ZPAP beat because it's so universal. You know, any handguard, any part period, you know, fit on that thing. Not that now there's a lot of stuff for Yugo, so we don't worry about it anymore. But it's just a solid AKM pattern rifle. If you want to have one that, you know, that's it, why not? And they're superbly reliable, as are the M70s. But, you know, that Wasser's just no. You can do anything to it. It's going to keep on ticking. If you could, I'd get it with the military furniture. Some people don't know, but there are Wassers and then Wasser 10s. So there's a little difference there in furniture and stuff. You can still order the part number, whatever, SKU, where you can get military wood. So if that's something you had an option of, that's what I'd do. But it doesn't matter. You're probably going to replace it anyways. And you can find anything. You can put Russian wood on it. You could put Bulgarian wood on it. You can do whatever you want. So that's what makes it cool. So, yeah, that'd be my second choice probably in that price range. Now, if you go up, I'd probably move to Arsenal because it's what I know. Believe it or not, I don't have any Polish rifles. Every time the Barils come in, I miss them. And I'm still struggling if I want 7.62 or 5.56. But when I get it, I want it with the military furniture, the right stuff, and the rail that goes over the receiver, the stock, the grip. I want to buy it all. When Arms of America has all their stuff in, I wanted it done, everything. And yeah, I know I can, piece it together, but I like it done. So I don't know. I kicked around the pistols because those are around, but I want the rifle. It's like the aces, you know. I've got that ace pistol, and I wish it was a Gen 1, but it's a Gen 2. To me, it's just iconic with the sights they used to have, you know. And now it just doesn't look the same. And I like the pistol because of the brace and everything. But I shot these Bulgarian dudes I met at the gun range. Start talking to a guy. I'm shooting an AK. I've told this story before, but he's shooting AR, and I'm shooting an AK. I'm from the U.S. He's from Bulgaria. We shoot what we can't have, right? And we start talking. He's like, "Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Sure." He's like, why are you shooting that piece of shit?" That's what he said. He has no love lost for the AK pattern. He says, "Your rifles are magnificent. Even the crappiest ones out there," he goes, "they're magnificent. Head and shoulders over the AK platform." Yeah, whatever. Anyways, his buddy had an ace rifle there in 7.62 by 39. And I shot it, and I was shocked. Just shocked at how smooth. And he had it set up with a nice handguard, a red dot, and I think an adjustable stock, like an M4 stock or something. It was just fabulous. It was handy. It was light. It was accurate. The recoil was just perfect, and it just handled so well. It felt so solid. I really liked it. Really, really liked it. I would love, and that was a Gen 2. I would love to find a Gen 1 rifle, 7.62 by 39, or even 5.56. Just, God, that was a great rifle. I think about it all the time. And he was another Bulgarian guy. I used to see him here and there when I'd go to the range, and haven't run into him in a while. And now I don't know if I'll be going to that club much anymore, because it is on the other side of the iron or cheddar curtain, I should say. But yeah, if you're going up in price, it's a tough call. Arsenal makes some nice stuff, whether you do milled or stamped. The Israelis make nice stuff, and the Polish. Whether it's a Brill or like a Fox, a WPP, or their milled guns, Polish make nice stuff, really nice stuff, and beautiful wood too on them. So there's some choices out there, and none of them bad. But if I was going to get a first rifle, it would be probably the ZPAP and then the Wasser. And then if I was going to spend more money, take your pick on those three. Polish, the Israeli offer. Some guys don't consider it an AK. I don't really consider it an AK. It's really not. But it is by the same token. Or the Polish, So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot out there, but so those were the pros on the underfolder. The sight rail, they got rid of the notch in the safety and the bayonet lug, right? The cons to it, looking at it real close, and younger guys, or there were guys that haven't had a Yugo earlier version, and I don't care if it's NPAP, OPAP, a kit gun that retained a lot of its finish, or anything really. The finish has changed on them. It's changed. The parts definitely are not tumbled or polished as much as they used to, and that changes the sheen of the bluing / parkerizing / whatever. You can put any coating you want, but the level of finish on that part before it has its final finish put on is what's going to give that part its look. You can re-blue a gun, But if you don't polish it, any little mark you see is going to show up right on the finish. I don't care if it's bluing, parkerizing, you name it. It's going to show, especially some of the thinner coatings, or chemical processes, I should say. But even then again, even Cerakote will show everything. It's ultra thin. Every one of my videos, and I said it in the new one, I always comment about Yugo gas blocks. Just the front, they're so perfect. Not a machine mark, not anything, perfect, sculpted. It's like artwork. And Zastava's bluing way back in the day, early kit guns, when they were coming in. The bluing was a blue-black, and early M70 Yugo bolt hold open mags. I've got some unissued from way back, and even some that were like, had to be Battlefield pickups, because I have a couple where it had to be blood. You could see how it dropped on it, and it ate through the bluing and etched the metal, actually. And blood will do that on a mag. You could tell it was blood that had been on a mag, and it was a pickup from somewhere. But the bluing on their mags, even, we have 2A EDU stops in here, he'll tell you. Early Yugo mags had just a gorgeous bluing on them. It may be like bluing over park, sort of like Romania does, but theirs had some blue to it back then. Everything was polished exceptionally well, and it's just not there anymore. It's a rougher texture. It's more of a parkerizing. I get it. Parkerizing is like saying Band-Aid, right? And black oxide finish, whatever. It's just not as slick, starting with the polishing and finishing with whatever coating they're using now. But it's different. Mine almost looks like paint in a way. I can actually see on the top cover, when I cleaned it and oiled it up, what they look like brush marks almost from paint, but it's them either sanding that metal or on a wheel or something, maybe grinding the rough edge off the top of or bottom edge of the top cover. You can see the striations through it. Not bad. Better than a Wasser finish, fit and finish wise, but it's not the days of old, and I get it. It's still a great finish. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you not to buy it because of that. Most guys won't even notice. Only if you had one of the old ones, you go, just not as pretty, right? And most of us don't buy AKs for pretty. But yeah, I get it. It takes man hours, and those are manual techniques, buffing parts, other than throwing them in a tumbler. But yeah, and I'll show it in a video. It's significantly different. Again, not bad, different. That was one of the cons a little bit to me. Not going to affect the operation. Matter of fact, this finish is probably more durable than the older ones. I do hate that it came with a PMAG instead of a current Serbian bolt hold open, but I get it, because as an underfolder, you have one less part to count for 922R with the stock. And it used to be, Zastava wants to have the factory Zastava trigger group, and I agree. The worst thing that's been done or 922R does to AK pattern rifles in most cases, and years ago, almost 100% of the cases, was the easiest thing to do was to get rid of the trigger group and put an American one in it, because it counted for a bunch of parts. Well, Zastava wanted to keep theirs. Why? Because it runs better and smoother and all of that. You don't get, there's almost zero chance of tail squash or mushrooming. You'll still get a little maybe, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, they don't have that big tap-go hump like everybody that's copied or made an AK trigger in the last 30 years all seem to have copied the Tapco, whether that's Arsenal or Century or even ALG. They all went with that big high hump as a transition on the hammer, and you really don't need it. You look at all hammers from pick your country, any COM-block country, and they're nowhere near like that. But everybody must have went back to the G2 that was in everything 20 years ago and went, well, that works, so we'll start there. And some are less, whatever, but they've tried to keep that trigger group, and that's a big pat on the back to them for wanting to keep it. They did it by floor plate on a mag, this and that, but now you lose the stock, so you lose the whole mag, I guess, or maybe it was a cost-cutting thing combined. I don't know. Not that PMags are bad. PMags function flawlessly, never had a bad one, although this is the cheap one without the metal tabs. Again, never broke one of those, but I'm not Rob Ski dropping them off a building or whatever. But just nice to have the bolt hold open, right? That's always was a thing on Yugos. Bolt hold open mags, no matter what you think of them. Do you like them, don't like them? To get one with the gun for whatever purpose, display, or to you're going to let someone shoot it for the first time and tell them about the Yugo bolt hold open mag. Well, you want one at least, right? You don't like them, great, go buy more, but it should come with one. I don't know, it's a shame. I do like what they did with the walnut wood. I didn't like the walnut on the fixed stock. I chose the maple, but pretty, and it looks even better with this Battlefield pickup look. And you guys know I am not a Battlefield pickup person. I like my stuff without a scratch, a mark. There's guns I have, once it gets a scratch, I don't want it anymore, Not true in all cases. My AK, my shooters, I don't give a shit about what they look like, but when I've got a piece that's part of my collection, it better not have a mark. I can't, it drives me nuts. It's like just, I don't have OCD, but I'm OCD in several ways, and that's one of them. But I do like the look, my handguard in particular. The way they did it is just sweet. It looks great. It looks perfect. It doesn't look like it was done on purpose. It's not underdone. It's not overdone. It's perfect, and I love it. And I like the texture of the feel too. It's not overly glossy. It's not overly dull. It's perfect. It really just looks great on it. So kudos to them. And I do hope that, I said in the video, I had a feeling that, maybe the U.S. Supplier of those maybe ran short, or maybe they thought, oh, those aren't coming in because of the export ban, and all of a sudden they're here, and all of a sudden they're scurrying to get some furniture, and maybe couldn't get it in time, and they said, what are we going to do? How are we going to get some furniture? Wait, one guy runs out to the warehouse. Here, we got 7,000 of these blems. And he said, perfect. We'll ding them up a little bit and throw them on the guns. Well, good for them. If they've figured out a way to save money and still get a good product and look super cool on top of it, wonderful. Half the people probably replaced them anyways on their ZPAPs, whether they tacked them out or they wanted the flame maple or whatever. I love my flame maple. My handguard's super pretty, but the stock really doesn't match so well. It doesn't have near the flame, and it took oil different. It ended up way darker than the handguard because of the flaming in the handguard. So at a certain angle, it looks right. Every other angle, it looks wrong, too dark. So I don't know. Maybe one day I'll find somebody with a lighter flamed stock, and they could use a darker flame stock. I don't know. And we'll swap. But I thought it was pretty for that gun. And I've already got my tacked out shooter Yugo, which is my NPAP, that's got more rounds than any gun I own, and going strong, and it's set up for me. It's my rifle, my go-to AK. It with the optics, the handguard, the furniture, the muzzle device, everything about that rifle is perfect, and it doesn't excel at anything. It's just good at everything. A 3x prism, primary arms, so I can get a couple 200-300 yards, pretty damn accurate. I love the reticle on that. The ACSS, love it. Meridian Defense muzzle brake, ALG trigger, the Kyber Customs cheese grater, gas tube cover, and my God damn, they sponsor me. The only company that does. My billet aluminum lower handguard, M-Lock, super nice, and K-grip. What stock do we have on that thing? Not the minimalist. Ooh, I forget. Anyhow, love that rifle. Love that rifle. Magpul sling, it's great. Love it. It's always with me. Always goes to the range. No matter what. I deer hunted with it this year. Just a great rifle. And no, they don't crack receivers. Rob Ski cracked one, and he thought that was a fluke. He actually did a second video on it, and that one held up fine. So, but nobody remembers that one. Anywho, yeah, those are the high spots for the underfolder ZPAP. Just really nothing bad to say. The couple cons are no big deal, super low recoil. Seems that it's certainly accurate enough. We'll see when we get it to distance and we get some good ammo in there, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And we got a rail now. Hey, might be cool to actually put a variable power optic on there, huh? Might be cool. I don't know. We'll see. Try out one of those. I think it's Simpson makes the cheek riser that clamps onto the underfolder. Those are nice. It's like a little polymer cup that just fits your chin, and it's got two sheet metal things that clamp on there, and they work great for a cheek riser. So always meant to get one, and then you got to kind of search them out. They're kind of hard to find, but they work well. And I guess now on that, since we're going to have to do this one, I like it. It's comfy. On my M70AB2, I have it on both sides, and I've left it all these years, even though I'm not left-handed, so what do I need it on that side? And it screws with the safety on that side. If you're left-handed, you don't want to put paracord braid on it. It'll screw with the safety. But yeah, awesome. It's as good or better than my M70AB2. So I do wish they put the factory military night sights on it, the flip-up ones. And it would be cool if they offered some with the grenade launcher gas block, just because it's cool. I've never fired a grenade off one on mine. I have on other guys' rifles, but it's fun to shoot. I've just never done it on mine, but they're neat to flip them up. People, you're showing somebody that's not all into guns, and they're like, a grenade launcher. Just like our friends here at YouTube are probably watching going, oh my God, he's talking about grenade launchers. No, they're not. They launch dummy grenades. It's like having a golf ball launcher, a potato gun, you fire a blank. It's actually safer than shooting. You fire a blank and a rubber dummy grenade, and they're just fun to shoot in the backyard. So I wish it had that. But other than that, yeah. Cool gun. Can't wait to see how it smooths up. I tell you guys or people that listen to this all the time and have watched my videos that the smoothest AK I own, the one that is absolute glass, is not a milled gun. Nope. It is a stamped M70AB2 from Century. By far the smoothest AK I've ever felt of all AKs I've ever felt. mostly because it's got so many rounds through it. But yeah, keep shooting them. Keep shooting them. They get smoother and smoother. Same with the triggers. If you're going to stick with that factory trigger, and I hope you do, just keep shooting it before you go polish on it. Get a whole bunch of rounds in there. It'll get better. If you want to polish on it, then go ahead. But or get an ALG. ALGs are fabulous. I've been touting ALG triggers longer than any channel I can remember. Go back and look at my ALG. Back in the day, I had an install video and just a bunch of them. Trigger pull tests, all kinds of stuff. And we were doing all ultimates back then, the nickel boron coated ones. Now everybody acts like, oh yeah, we've got this new trigger. I had that years before they even had videos on it. If you're going to do an aftermarket trigger, by far the best, period. And no, they don't mushroom anything. And no, they don't screw up your rivet in your arsenal. If they are hammering it a little bit, don't shave down the rivet. Take a little bit off the back of the tail, and you'll be just fine. No, they won't break and all that other crap. It's all FUD lore. I'm sure maybe one's broken somewhere, but trust me, I have them in everything. And never broken one, never hurt a gun, never hurt a tail, never a rivet of this. But why modify the gun on an arsenal? Why grind that rivet when you can change the replaceable trigger? You know what I mean? No sense to grind on a gun when you can grind on an aftermarket replaceable part. Anyhow, let's check back into the chat here and see what you guys are talking about, because I've been ignoring you and babbling here. Interesting that they went to a Magpul grip on your underfolder. Mine still has the same polymer grip that's on my regular M70. The Palm, AK Palm or whatever they're called. Yeah, I was shocked too when I took a look. I'm like, huh. And I thought, well, PMAG, maybe they cut a deal. I don't know. And I said K-grip in the video. It's not a K-grip. It's the Mo, the cheapest one they make. But it's still pretty straight, but the K-grip's straighter. I love the K-grip. Just fabulous. Especially if you're shooting prone. You know, if you got like I don't care if it's an AK or an M4, but if you got that grip angled way back, when you get down prone, you know, your wrist is up like this. You got that K grip, and it's so nice. And it's just the regular K grip. I don't like the rubberized one. That feels weird and gushy. The K grip is just, the texture on it is perfect. They're cheap. They're everywhere. They last, and they're comfortable. I put them on all my ARs. I put them on a lot of AKs. Just good stuff. But I was shocked to see it too. It's kind of like the AK Palm, AK Palm, right? You're kind of used to seeing those in the Zastava wooden broomstick handles, I call them, because boy, they put very little effort into shaping the wood on that grip. It looks like a broomstick. But yeah, I was kind of shocked to see it. It's like back in the day when Century had guns coming in, you knew you were going to get that square Century grip, you know, it was on my M70 AB2 actually. But those were everywhere. So you were kind of used to the palm grip. It's just what I figured would be on it. And when I looked, I went, huh. I actually kind of looked at that as a plus, because I don't care for those palm grips. When you couldn't get them before the remake or the new company or whatever, those things used to sell for crazy money. And now they're everywhere. Anyhow, yeah, it was weird to see that. I'm going to put a I'm going to put a surplus military grip on it. I got a few laying around somewhere. But yeah, who knows? They change stuff up, you know. Rock, Ross, Chase, Squeaky, Grand, RDH. First time greetings from Serbia. Grand Tomek. Hey, good to have you. Thanks for checking in from the homeland, man. We certainly appreciate Zastava over here, don't we, guys? Outstanding company, man. I think one of the coolest things would be able to do a tour of that factory. That would be awesome. But good to have you. We're a fan of the Serbian / Yugoslavian AKs, and please, nobody take offense when we say Yugoslavian or Yugo. We call them Yugos, right? It's just how we know them for so long. So even saying Serbia, I have to catch myself and say it. And I get it, but it is what it is. We don't mean anything by it. As a matter of fact, we use it endearingly, let's say, in a good way. But it was my first AK over 18, 19, 20 years ago. And still one of my favorites. Certainly has lasted. I got a lot that I don't know that they go the round count these have. Plus the history behind them and everything, the company. I think I mentioned last week maybe when you talk about AK pattern rifles, a lot of people, if you asked them, what's the most prolific AK in the world? They would say, well, Russian, of course, or maybe Chinese, right? But no, more M70 pattern rifles have been used by bazillions of countries out there in more wars and conflict zones all around the world than any other rifle. There are more M70s have been used in combat than any other AK pattern rifle in the world. And some people go, wow, that's surprising. But next time you see a news clip or a news story and they show some fighters or operators or whoever, take a look. And you'll see a ton of underfolders too, an absolute ton. And it's always cool to see, but they're used everywhere on every continent. It's amazing. I remember thinking, wow, really? And then when I thought about it and thought about how long they've been around, how long they've been producing them, and the history of the country and sort of more open to the free market in a way earlier than others, it made sense. So, yeah, it's just cool. It's such a great company, a great rifle with so much history and so much heritage that how can you not love it? I don't know. Plus, they feel more robust to me. That's what always bugged me about the Wasser. It just, guys used to complain about weight. I said, no, this is quality, man. That you think 0.5 millimeters, right? 0.5 of an inch. No, 0.5 millimeter. Half a millimeter thickness on the receiver. How could that make such a big deal? It just does. And the heavier profile barrel and the bulge trunnion, yes, it weighs a little more, but God, it just feels so much more robust and solid. I hate the tinniness of an AKM pattern gun with a 1 millimeter receiver. But yeah, it's good to have you here, man. Hope you come back. We do it every Tuesday. We will be switching to Wednesdays come late summer probably. But we'll see. We'll let you know. But yeah, every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. So if you're out of the country, just look up Chicago time, and that's Central Time. Everybody knows Chicago, so you can figure it out from there. Yeah, I caught last week's next day. Okay, cool. Great video on the Zastava. Looking forward to more on it. And once I get some stuff caught up, it's definitely, yeah. I don't know what's next. There's so many next, you know. I did have one in mind. I thought of the other day that I said, boy, God, I wish I could get this. Actually, a barrel. I really want a barrel. The 770 underfolder looks so much better with the bayonet, doesn't it? It's like, you know what's wrong with Vepers? And I love Vepers. They're in my top 3 list. The problem with Vepers is no cleaning rod lug to hold it. They got the hole there, but there's no ring on the barrel, and there's nothing up on the gas block to hold the cleaning rod. And you think, well, big deal. Who cares? Nobody uses the cleaning rods anyways, right? But look at one of those like profiles, or like the shadow box, like my Rockford Ordnance sign that has the AK on it, where it's cut out, the metal, or just any black side profile of an AK. It's always got the cleaning rod under it. And when you look at it like that, it's part of the look. And when you don't have the cleaning rod, yeah, it looks like an AK, but it's like something's missing. Yeah, I don't know. I wish the Vepers had. That's the one thing about the Veper I wish they had changed. And I said in the video, I'll say it again. I wish I should come up with something that clamps on that could hold the cleaning rod in, and then there's a little sheet metal, spring metal, L-shaped tab that the Yugoslavians had. I can't remember what rifle, maybe on their RPKs or something. But it goes over the barrel, and then the muzzle device, the slant brake, screws down on and holds it on there, and it's the cleaning rod in it's made of spring metal, so it's got a little spring action, holds it in, and you can put on any gun that is threaded and will take a muzzle device, because it goes on. The muzzle device is the nut that holds it on. So I thought about, well, I could use that, and then because it's got a heavier profile barrel too, and just need a ring to support it somewhere along the barrel, and you'd be in biz. So that'd be cool. What kind of tractor, Rock? I got a TYM. So TYM made tractors for Rural King. They own Branson now. Bransons are TYMs and have been for years, even before they bought them out. I think they made a bunch of tractors that they've made and just rebranded. But I did a lot of research on them, and people raved about them. They're designed and built in South Korea, assembled here in the U.S. They have a full U.S. branch, and they've got a huge marketing push on right now. And they're good-looking tractors. This is an early one in 08, 35 horse, and it's a large frame tractor. It's still like a compact, but it's almost like a utility tractor. I mean, it sits up high. The wheels, the top of the rear tire is probably just below my sternum, or a little lower maybe. And I like that. I hate like a lawn tractor, basically, with a loader. That, to me, first of all, it's too small. You can't lift enough weight. If you can lift it, there's not enough weight in back. Just not enough power, and you're not sitting up high enough to see what you're working on. It's bad enough it's hard to see with a loader and everything, but I didn't want something as tall as I had a Farmall H. That would have been a great tractor if it had hydraulics, but it didn't have a 3-point hitch, it just had a drawbar. They made aftermarket kits for them. And it had a narrow front end, so that was tough. If I had a wide front end and an aftermarket 3-point on that H, it would have been a great tractor. It was completely restored. Everything worked. It was perfect. It ran great. Always started. It had been rebuilt Radiator had been boiled and redone, all new paint, all new rubber, gauges, seat, or the tie-on seat. Everything had been done on it. PTO worked, everything. It was a great tractor for a lot of things. Like if you were gonna bale hay in one of your fields, you could tow a rake, no problem. You could tow a small square baler. It'd be great. If you had animals and you wanted to do hay, the H would have been great. But I needed something here that had a bucket so we could move material. And I could put a blade on the back to keep the driveway in shape. And, as we're here longer, there's going to be trees. Maybe we cut them down. We got to move them, make trails, keep trails mowed. um, do some brush hogging for sure. And maybe, till a garden or whatever. But mostly to start now, taking care of the driveway and, cleaning up the property. And without a tractor, you can't do it. I mean, it's too much work and too heavy. Maybe when I was 18 or in my 20s, but it's tough, and you can get it done so much faster, so much more efficiently. I can drive a tractor just fine. I'm not a good bucket operator. I've run a Bobcat here and there, and once I'm doing it for a while, I'm pretty good with the Bobcat, but I was having a rough time today on this, and mainly because I was getting used to the hydrostatic trans. Not that it's like an automatic transmission, but when you're not used to different pedals for forward and reverse, and you're used to shifting or working in one gear or whatever, and then the bucket thing. What else was different? I don't know. Just I didn't know where everything was just yet, and then I got stuck. It was just a terrible day. But basically, it got itself out when I thought about it a little bit. I'm like, all right, I got the bucket here. Why don't I put it there and just use the hydraulics to kind of push me back a little bit, and that'll weight the rear tires more and all. And it did. I mean, that winch helped, but I don't know if I could or couldn't have gotten it out without the winch. But once I thought about it, I had walked back up by the house or motorhome. And then by the time I walked back down, I had thought about it a little bit. And I thought, I know what I'll do. I was looking at the bucket. I'm like, if I do this, it's just going to take some time and fix the little things that are wrong with it that are hindering me from operating it correctly, because you're worried about things that are broken, that aren't working. So, and that steering is the biggest thing that's messing with me now. But they're built pretty strong. Parts are available, at least for the new ones. Hoping this is an 08 and they no longer make the model, but a lot of things transfer over, and the engine in it has been put in a million things, from skid steers to tractors to, I think, cars, even backhoes, forklifts, you name it. It's got a Mitsubishi 4-cylinder diesel, and that, I forget the model letters and numbers. It's an L, maybe 45, something, I don't know. But I researched it, and that engine is pretty much bulletproof, and it's been put in a bazillion things. So if you did blow one up, you could probably find another one, or parts for sure, because Mitsubishi's still making them, I think. And a lot of things interchange on tractors, different, like hydraulic hoses. If you had to, you have a custom one made, no problem. There's places all over do it. Cables, things like that, I'm sure you could find. It needs a grill right now. They had TMY had a problem with their hood releases. They would get a little dirt in them and jam up, and this one was jammed, and you couldn't get them open. You literally couldn't. You couldn't get to them to mess with them. So guys would drill a hole in the front, or they'd be pissed and they'd punch in the grill. Well, somebody punched in the grill on it because it's just plastic, and you can see they tried the side didn't get it. Tried the other side, didn't get it, and then punched out the front and got it open. So the whole grill's smashed up. So I'm trying to find a grill for it. Maybe a couple other plastic pieces, because the one drawback to it, and it would look really, really good if they had just stored it under roof or inside. This thing sat in the sun, so I kind of got a pink tractor. But once the house is done and I got access to all my stuff, we'll buff it up and do our thing. Maybe a little paint. If I can't get it to buff back, maybe I'll even paint it. Whatever. I am the king of getting spray rattle cans to look good, but I've got a compressor air brushes and my Cerakote guns and stuff. So now that I got all that stuff, I'm sure I could just get the paint and spray it too, even better. But yeah, it's just little things, sun fades the plastic a little bit. I put a grill in it and that would solve most of it. Headlights are a little foggy. We'll polish them up. But, a new one is like in the upper 30s, probably right around 40 grand. You go to a John Deere in this size and holy cow, it's 4-wheel drive, which is a big thing. It's got the loader and it came with I negotiated it, but it came with a box blade. Frontier, which is a good brand, except it's green. Somebody must have bought it for their John Deere, but who cares? So it was a good deal, and I got it for less, or right around about a quarter of the price of a new one. When you look around for a tractor under 10 grand, there just ain't much out there in that size. You can find, basic lawn tractors or the smallest subcompact, but even those are going to be older, may or may not have a bucket, and you'd never buy a tractor without a bucket, because you will never find the right bucket, because there's 100 other guys just like you looking for one. They're hard to find, and they cost a ton. If you look at tractor values wholesale, it basically, any tractor, I don't care, from let's say 2000 on up toward new, if you look at what the cost of the loader was new on the tractor, it adds the same value to the used tractor, even 15 years later. So that's a good investment. If you're not losing a dime on the loader, you better get one with a loader, right? Because nobody wants them without it. Very few people want a compact tractor without a loader. That's what they're buying them for. If they're just mowing a lawn, they're just going to buy a lawn tractor, What do you buy a compact for? Yeah, sure, maybe you're doing a brush hog or you're pulling a big mower or something. But then you got big property, you probably got other machines, stuff like that. You want one with a loader. And I might even say with a backhoe, because that's the other way they package them. You either get the bare tractor, or you get the tractor with a loader, or you get the package that has the tractor, the loader, and the backhoe. And the backhoe is useful. Like today, had I had a backhoe, I could have solved my water problem in about 3 seconds without getting stuck, because that backhoe reaches out further. I wouldn't have to be near the mud where I might sink it. And I could have done a channel. With the bucket, I got to lower it there to get that water to flow a lot, like over a foot, maybe 2 feet. And to do it that wide with a bucket is tough. With a backhoe, I could have pulled up a couple sweeps and boom, water would have been flowing. But yeah. Anyhow, so for quarter price, basically 10.5 is what I paid for it. So tractor 08, 35 horse with the box blade, which is brand new, and the bucket, 10.5. I don't know. When I looked at tractors under 10,000, there was nothing, next to nothing, or they were total junk, absolute junk. which at the end of the day, maybe that's what I got. I don't know. But it seems pretty well built for what it is. It's certainly not like my 40s Farmall H, where everything's cast iron, you know. But and this was early on for TYM, you know, 08. Die cast stuff. That's what broke on the loader valve, the die cast part. But they've been out now another 12 years, and the new ones, the fit and finish, they say while it's not quite as good as John Deere, it's definitely up there and gotten better. It's right there with the Coyotes, stuff like that. And if you think back, guess who else started like that? The Orange brand. If you guys are a little older and you remember when they came out, everybody dogged them. Oh, it's not a John Deere. What do you want, that Chinese brand? Kubota. Now everybody's got a Kubota, right? It's either John Deere or Kubota. And that's how they started out. They were looked down upon too as imported junk. Well, now they're considered one of the best, right? The only problem is they don't build a bigger frame tractor until you get into like 50 horse plus, I think. And they always, even all their series got the little wheels and they seem so low and stretched out. I don't know. They're just ugly. I think. I don't know. Let's see. I went new and after months of research, tried the best value out there, LS brand. They do make the New Holland, and TYM makes some of the New Hollands, and they make quite a few of the LSs from what I understand. They all cross over. I looked at the LSs, just TYM was kind of, I saw a video early on and it kind of grabbed my attention, and the more I watched and the more I researched and the prices and everything just seemed to be a good deal. So, and it's hard to find used ones, you know, and this one was out there. It was local. So we'll see if I can get the few things fixed. That steering's, I don't get that. So I thought maybe they engineer it that way so it kind of stays straight, because at low speeds it seems to be okay, or better, I should say. I thought maybe with the four-wheel drive they did it or something, but I don't think it's right. I don't know. But I got a hard time believing this guy outright screwed me or knew about it. I don't know. Maybe he did drain all the hydraulic fluid out, which is like 45 quarts, like over 10 gallons, to replace the little sight glass on the back near the differential. I guess it's a main tank or whatever. There's a sight glass, and that was leaking from there. So he put a new one in, and he drained all the fluid out, put all new in. Could it be there's some air in there? Because I think it works off the same. What do you guys think? I'd be interested to know. You guys know all about this kind of stuff. Let's see. RTG has a great deal on those AC Unity mags. $5 a piece on their. See, they're, for some reason they're dirt cheap and they're pretty nice. I like them. Chase 35 horsepower with good size for all farm work and heavy duty loader was $23K. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you can get, I think you can get there like 20, either 25 horse, maybe a 35 horse. They have one that crossed over that they got when they bought the Branson line, and it's called a 2515, and the 15 means it's on their big frame. So it's a 25 horse with the big frame, and those are in that like $21,000 range. And I would love to do it. We're spending so much money right now. It's, my wife found this one because I was looking at new. I figured, I'll finance it or something. Bunch had 0%. And she's like, are you out of your mind? We can't afford another payment and this and that. And I thought, well, I got to have a tractor. And I was looking, but it was all junk. And she found this one. And it was the brand I like. So I was excited and I jumped on it. And I probably got too excited. It's a gun channel, but I might as well tell you. But so I go to the guy's house. We had met this guy. He helped when we were moving. He came and he basically takes all this like mattresses and stuff like that. He's got a few different businesses going, landscaping. Anyways, we met him there. My wife said he was a super nice guy. It just turned out he's the one with this tractor. So I kind of trusted him. He seemed nice enough. Went to his house. We're in his barn, and showed up. And my buddy actually told me after the fact he leaned up on it to see if it was warm, like he had started beforehand. It was ice cold. It turned right over, fired up, ran super smooth. Everything's cool. And yeah, it's faded in the grill and whatever, but I'm overlooking that kind of stuff. And then he tells me about the sight glass leak and that he's got the parts coming. So it'll be a few days if I wanted it, because he's going to replace that. And then the shuttle valve or whatever for the loader, he had the parts coming for that. And that if I wanted it, when that was fixed, I could come pick it up. So I thought, shit, the guy's putting a new valve in. He's replacing the sight glass. He's replacing 45 quarts of hydraulic fluid. The guy's honest, right? So I don't know. Maybe he didn't know about the steering. Maybe the steering's fine and I'm nuts, or maybe it's just something. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I mean, at 10 grand, I thought, yeah. And I was excited, right? Because I was thinking, well, I'm not going to get a tractor for a while. So when she found this and the deal was going together, I'm all excited, right? So everything seemed fine. I didn't really look it over. I didn't drive it. I should have, considering the transmission and everything. But he moved the bucket up and down and all that. So I went to pick it up last night, and I got there after work. It was dark, and I'm getting out of the truck, and I start walking toward the driveway, and I hear him fire the tractor up. It's outside, and he starts driving it across right away. He's like, "You got the trailer ready to load?" And I'm like, "Whoa, I was expecting to see it inside and everything." And I'm like, "Did you get the hood open?" Because I couldn't open the hood that first time. Yeah, I got it. I replaced that. And he popped the hood. I saw real quick, but it was dark. I don't know. It seemed he was in a hurry to go somewhere. So, yeah, I should have slowed down, but I was excited to get it home. New tractors, like toys at Christmas, But, yeah, I hope everything's okay. That's all. It's not going to cost me a fortune. Trans seems fine, seems to move good, but that's why I hate used things, because I don't know how they were new. I don't know how the different things felt new, I only know how they feel now. Well, is that right? Or should it be smoother? Or should it be this? Or is that put together right? Did he run those wires here? I hate that. I like starting with new, and I keep it that way. All my stuff I keep nice mechanically, and it bugs me now. So now I got to do all kinds of research and try and find parts. And that's why I like, when it comes to stuff like that, is for sure the buy once, cry once, because it's at the end of the day, I learned my lesson with lawn tractors. I had a Cub Cadet that when I first moved to the country, I thought, oh, lawn tractor, Cub Cadet, big farmer, What a piece of what a piece of garbage. Every time I went out to mow, it took 45 minutes before I could mow. Well, eventually we went and bought an X-Mark, and I have done nothing but put a battery in it. The thing mows like crazy. Yes, it was a lot of money, but guess what? It's the second and last tractor or lawn mower I will ever buy. I will never have to buy another one. That zero turn is fabulous. That Cub Cadet was absolute shit. And that's I was hoping to do it once with this and be done, but well, I'll just use it as a learning tool and fixing it and get it running. And if I break it or whatever, it's not the end of the world, but it's frustrating. Anyhow, at the risk of being on the outs, I really don't like modernizing AK. I want wood or bakelite. Me too. Me too, Joe. I much prefer it. I don't like tacked out AKs as far as collecting goes. But I do love my NPAP all tacked out for what I use it for. You follow? It works really well for me. But I love factory AKs. What are your thoughts on WPP? I used to own a ZPAP, but I traded it for a great gun. Super nice fit and finish. I assume since you own one, you've probably seen some of the factory videos where they're building them in the factory and all. Really interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's out of a plant that's been building them forever. Quality, everything. It's a great gun. Great gun. Denny's Plant-Based Journey. Howdy, folks. Good to see you, man. Renko is also so passionate when talking about his beloved Zastava. Cool dude. And for one, I've really enjoyed my M70. Yeah, he is, and he is passionate. He makes Zastava USA, you know, he really does. Super pride in their Serbian products. They should. It's a great product. How many people can say they have a military plant like that that's been run 170 years? What do you think about the Pioneer 5.56 underfolder? All right, here's my thoughts. So Pioneer had some guns with issues, you know, going back a ways. And they're not, I forget now if it was, they claimed, I think they used an address or a building or something from the old military factory and sort of kind of claimed it or something. I don't know. But they had some problem guns too. And I haven't shot one of the new ones, but I've never heard good things about them. And when you got WBP and stuff like that, why bother? I don't know. I don't know what to think, but I can't speak personally of them. Maybe what I'm hearing is just, you know, your typical FUD lore, internet, third person, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I would buy just about everything else before I bought that. And in my opinion, I think there's some guys out there that have them and are probably running them just fine and enjoying them. So, hey, if you've got experience, know somebody that's had one and it runs fine, God bless. There's certainly enough of them out there. Let's see. Just checking in to say hi. I'll have to watch this back later. Love the M70 underfolder video. I'm excited to see the next video of it out at the range. You will see it soon, sir. So yeah, let's talk about Cugir here. What's going on? Have you guys heard about it? Maybe you heard it a couple places. I don't know. Anyhow, so the story is that Cugir might be pulling out of the U.S. And it's not due to any regulations or laws or import bans or export bans, none of that. Century has been the importer for everything Cugir forever, right? It's partially the reason that Zastava USA came into being, right? Century was the original importer of Zastava. And frankly, that's why all of a sudden one day you had NPAPs and the next day you had ZPAPs, right? And people still say, oh, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about when I say that my NPAP is the original ZPAP. When Zastava USA opened its doors, Zastava pulled out of the Century contract, said, screw you. We're not going to have you importing our stuff anymore. We're going to go open our own U.S. branch of things and do our own importing and our own retail, our distribution and whatnot. And the reason Zastava did that is Century always treated them like second fiddle. Cugir was their brand when it came to AKs, and they did a great job. I mean, Wassers were everywhere. you go back years and years, and the ads, like in Check and News and stuff, man, oh man, there were so many of them. But they were everywhere, right? And they were the importers of Zastava too. But yet, number one, the Yugoslavian rifles were so cheap. I mean, they were right there with Wassers, or maybe even less at one point. I don't remember now. But part of it is, I think, and why Zastava left is that they thought, well, hell, we're building a better rifle than the Wasser Cougar. And they are. They always have. Their finishes have been better. Their build quality's been better. Everything's always been better than the Wasser, yet they were getting so little money on the Century end. And Century was selling them so cheap. And Cougar was getting all the, top of the ads and all the push. And Zastava was like a stepchild, And they finally had enough of it. They pulled out and did their own thing. And frankly, it's proved it. I mean, best-selling AK in the last 3 years run. So I think at that time, everybody kind of thought, when that happened, everyone thought, well, oh, cool. The Yugoslavians are actually here. Serbians are actually here. They're going to do it. But we all had our doubts as to if they could, in fact, do it. Well, obviously, they've proved everybody wrong. Well, Cougar is going to Century now and saying, hey, we need a price increase. And Century said, absolutely not in this market. Inflation and the economy and this and that, it wouldn't hold. We couldn't do it. It would affect sales, and at that point, there's no reason we should bring them in anymore. And so two companies button heads, both think they're right, and both are holding their ground. That being said, Wassers were always the cheapest, period. I remember when you could get a Wasser for $2.99, then $3.99. When Wassers went to $500, I thought, I can buy you could buy an OPAP or a ZPAP for $500, not ZPAP, OPAP or NPAP, right around 500 there. And then when they went to $700, $699, $799, they were $800 for a Wasser. I thought, you got to be out of your mind, $800 for that. But at the same time, arsenals were creeping up. I mean, at one point, you could buy a Vepr for $8.99 for a fixed stock. $8.99 for a Vepr. And then all of a sudden, it's for $100 less, you get a Wasser? Are you crazy? And I thought, that's it. They ain't going to sell anymore. And I think it did affect their sales, because that's about the same time you saw them fall off. You didn't see them in the stores. Yeah, there were shortages of stuff, but Christ, they had enough Wassers sitting in warehouses here to last 10 more years, as is now. That's why there's not a problem. There's, I don't know, tens of thousands, 100,000, who knows how many. But Century said, we've got enough here to hold us through forever. But at $800, that seems about the time things, you just didn't see them all over. All of a sudden, one day I'm like, how come I'm not seeing any Wassers? I think price had something to do with it. Who knows? But, Cougar's demanding more money. Well, the world's changing, 17, 15, 20 years ago, that was free labor over there, right? Or dirt cheap labor in Romania. Like any black country. That's why AKs and all the surplus stuff we were seeing out of these countries, it was dirt. Cold War was ending, and all that labor was dirt cheap. Well, now those countries have progressed. Capitalism set in, and people are making more money. And now that inflation just didn't hit the U.S., it's hit everywhere. And they're like, hey, we're going to keep bringing these things in, keep making them. We need more money. Century said no. So there's a new president of Cougar, I guess, or CEO or whatever. And I guess he's playing hardball and thinks that, well, they can make money in other markets, or maybe even thinks that, hey, it's not worth the money. We could save money by just stopping it. I don't think that's the case, but either way, when I first heard about it, it all seemed like the demand was coming from the Cugir end of things, and Century was just saying, no, we can't. We don't think that price point will be able to sell enough of them. Well, then I got to thinking, maybe, just maybe it's cool, or maybe it's Century wanting the price increase and blaming the factory. Could that be? I don't know. Rob Ski reported on this in a video, and he's got ties over there. He's from Romania. So I think he's got family there. I know he's got friends there. I know he knows people at the Cugir factory. I don't know that he knows anybody high up, but I know he knows people there. He's talked about it in the past, and he talked about it in his recent video. That being said, if they're not at the top, do they know the real story? No. Like any company, if you're working on the line somewhere, you don't know what's going on in the head office at all, period. Or at best, you know what they're telling you, right? So it crossed my mind, well, maybe it's Century, right? Maybe they're seeing the popularity of the ZPAP and the popularity of Zastava, and see the numbers come out, best-selling AK 3 years in a row, and maybe they're going, well, shit, these guys weren't shit when we had them, and we were the kings, and now we're not, and so we're not making money. We need to make money. I don't know. Or maybe it's Cugir going, wait a second, Century, Zastava left you guys, and look at them now, and where are we? We feel like second fiddle. And maybe they are second fiddle, because think about it. How much promotion do you see on the Wasser? I think Century kind of fell back, resting on its laurels, sitting on its coattails, getting dragged around because you don't see anybody doing any reviews or testing or ads or social media or anything. Rapsky was famous for the mighty Wasser, and he did that. That wasn't because of Cugir or anybody. He's Romanian, so he's proud of them too. And he believes in them. He'll tell you that gun, he's got one that he's had forever that he's used, training, all the videos, everything, that I don't think he knows the round count on that thing either. I bet it's 20 or 30,000 though. And but you don't see any promotion of any of the Cugir weapons. Nothing. I don't know. I can't think of one. Maybe you guys can. So maybe they're seeing that and going, hey, Century, we're giving them to you for this. You're selling them for whatever they're getting now, about $1,000, I think. I think you can still find them for under $1,000 if you look. I don't think you can find one at $899 anymore, though. But they're seeing that, and the price increases, and they probably haven't seen shit on it. And if they have, it's certainly not at a percentage equal to what the increase has been to Century, I'm sure. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. So is it them? Is it Cugir? Well, I think I'll probably fall in the camp of it's probably Cugir asking for more money, because they're wondering, what are we getting out of this deal? Sales have fallen. You're making more money. We're not making anything. Things are costing more. Our labor is more. Hey, we got to do something, right? Well, I guess if you're into the AK hobby or have gotten in, I can't speak for a lot of the younger guys, because I think they see so much social media. They see a lot of custom guns, JMac stuff, all that, and that's what they want. So I don't think they're building them because kits are outrageous. Not like our days when you just bought 15 kits at a gun show for a total of about $300 and went home and built shit, right? But maybe you're not seeing the Wasser in the stores, but you're seeing that ZPAP there, and you grab that. You start there, or you start with whatever. Maybe an Arms of America gun, put together kit gun or something, or a Atlantic kit gun. Wassers on Atlantic Firearms are buried on page 3 or 4 somewhere, right? You just don't see it. Maybe they need to up the ante on the marketing, is what I'm thinking. Get some social media guys, some influencers, some YouTubers to really start pushing it, put it through its paces. You know, the old guys know about them. Young guys do too. They get talked about, and they're cheap, right? So if you're going to make them expensive, you better start pushing them. And that's what they need to do, I think. I think it would survive. I think there's certainly a market for an AKM. You know, that's the one thing the Euro stuff doesn't have going for it, and it's not a true AKM. To guys that know, it might be a thing, you know, but to guys coming in, what do they hear? Well, or what do they think? Well, Zastava looks like an AK. I'll buy the AK. And then they go, well, wait, it's not this, doesn't take that furniture. It's not like this. It's not like that. And they get to learn. They go, what do they buy? Well, by then they've already been in a ZPAP. So now maybe they jump up to the more expensive stuff, and Wasser gets overlooked completely, you know? And I don't know what it looks like in your neck of the woods, in your state, in your town, but at all the LGSs, local gun shops, you just don't see them. And not around here, not Wisconsin, not Illinois. They're just not around. There's everything but that. And, well, here's the other thing. Century finally kind of got it together, right? And you see Viscas everywhere. Everywhere. We got to talk about the gun show I went to Sunday. Oh, my God. Best gun show I've been to in years. I can honestly say in a decade, I bet. Fabulous gun. God, I love Wisconsin. Yeah, great. We'll go into that. Every gun store you go to, my eyes suck because I'm old, so if the AKs or guns are on the wall behind the counter, or maybe they're sitting in a rack behind the counter, I see the AK, I can't see some of the finer stuff, and I certainly can't read the model or whatever. So I'm looking, squinting, hey, what's that? And he goes, it's a Visca. Never mind. That's what I tell him, never mind. Never mind. If it's a Century, right? Not saying Viscas are bad. I do remember when they came out, and what's his name that died, had cancer, did the big test, the big reveal. They were going to put X amount of rounds through them side by side. I think Mr. Guns and Gear was there, and that's when the barrel moved. You could push the barrel pin out by hand, and that supposedly destroyed the launch of the Visca, right? Well, then who knows what happened? People forgot, which I doubt, or they fixed it, and it's off to the races, right? And that is what Century is pushing. They're pushing their guns, the Visca and whatever the hell else they got. They're a version of this and that. They even have another Romanian-built 9mm AK that's not Cugir, and maybe even a couple others. But they're certainly pushing Visca. That's all they're pushing. And Wasser is now in the position Zastavo's in. I forgot about that. Why Visca didn't pop in my head, I don't know. That's the issue. Guarantee you. So, yeah, makes sense now, right? Zastava is in the same position, or Cugir's in the same position Zastava was a few years ago. They're going, wait a minute. You know, because they've got they've got their rifles to push, right? They've got an ulterior motive to push Wasser to the back. If I were Cougar, I would probably do just like Zastava, just like it. Bring in a side on the U.S. Make your own company, or maybe look at somebody that is already established here, but doesn't have an AK platform. How about CZ? Just a thought. Who else? Who else could you do? Oh, well, yeah, look at Canik. That's a Century thing. And Canik blew up, right? Now, good gun, great gun. But it's all pushed by Century. So Century certainly has the ability to push product when they want to promote it, to advertise it. Caniks were everywhere on social media, everywhere, magazines, this, that, and they've proven to be a damn good product. So they go, and they're constantly coming out with new stuff. It's the other thing. Did Cougar get a little stale? They went from having all these models, PSLs everywhere, everything. Now, I have a local gun shop by me that has a PSL for sale new. And I would love to have it probably more than a Baril, because I don't have one, but it's $24.95. Oh, God. I remember when PSLs were $800 or less, $699, something like that. If they were that, I was stupid. I should have done it. Guys, when stuff comes in like that and you see it, just buy it. It's never going to be, it'll be double in the short order, guarantee you. Double your money all the time. Anyhow, Cougar had all this stuff going on: mini Draco, micro Draco, full size Draco. Haven't seen a full size Draco in forever. Seen some micros and minis. Those come in batches, it seems. You see a ton, then nothing. And talk about that at the gun show. And I want your guys' opinion on a collectible AK variant I saw there. A lot of collectible stuff there coming out of the woodwork. I was like, yeehaw. The only drawback was I had no money, which there were at least 3, maybe as many as 5 rifles. And I had the money, I would have bought on the spot. Like nice stuff that I can't find anywhere, But yeah, now that I thought about Visca and Century, it all makes sense now. They push those Viscas are in every local shop, everywhere. And you don't hear anything about them, good, bad, ugly, on YouTube or anything. Just they're there, right? And how do you sell guns? You get them in gun shops, period. If they're there, someone's going to buy one. A lot of guys will go in a gun shop looking for something specific, right? And there's a lot of guys that are into guns and I got X amount of money in my hand and I want to buy something today. Not sure what it is, but I'm going scratch that itch, right? And they walk in a gun store and they're looking. What can I buy for the amount of money I have in my hand today? They don't know what it's going to be walking in, but they just know I got this much money. So they're looking, ooh, I don't have an AK. Man, that thing looks, what? $800. Let me see that. Hell yeah, I'll take it home. Let's go, right? Just because it's there. If you're like me, I go in gun shops just to look around, see what's there. Anytime I bought a rifle, very rarely was it that I walked in there because I was looking for this. There were many times I walked in when I was looking for something in particular, and I walked in and I saw something else and went, oh, I'm going to get that instead. So put it in a gun shop. It will sell. IOs sold, guys, by the thousands, right? The world's worst rifle ever put on the planet. Self-destructed immediately. And they still sold thousands of them. Put them in a gun shop, and they will sell on a Sunday afternoon. Always. So that's what it is. Viscas are everywhere. They're selling like crazy. The Zastavas are everywhere, selling like crazy. And Cougar's not out there. They're just not out there. That starts at Century. It's with their reps. It's with their whoever calls on those gun shops. Are they pushing them? Hey, we got a deal for you this week. Buy 10 of them and we'll give you $25 off each, right? Are they doing that? Probably not, but they guarantee you they are on the Viscas. Guarantee you. I'm sure Cougar will make whatever they want. Batch AES 10Bs, batch of PSLs, bring them in, you know. What's Century? At the end of the day, Century's the one responsible for selling those guns. Cougar's making them and shipping them off. And Century's the one moving them. And their reps, their company, they send out, it's like being a retail customer. Distributors send out flyers, emails, everything to the local gun shops, you know, with deals of the week or whatever, deals of the month. Hey, clearance, we want to get rid of these, you know, and they price them down for them a little bit, cut into their margin a little, and dump them. Well, guarantee you, that's what they're doing on Visca, Canic, all of them. That's why you see them everywhere. And they're not doing it on Cougar, and Cougar's going, what the hell? Well, bottom line is Cougar is saying, well, maybe we should just cut ties and we won't import there. And maybe they won't look for another distributor. Maybe they won't form a U.S. company. Maybe they'll just go away. Who knows? It's new management, it's everything. Maybe they just don't find it profitable enough. Maybe that's got such a bad taste in their mouth that they say, yeah, you know what? Screw the U.S. market. Between ATF and importing and all of that, you know, usually that falls on it's both of them. Yeah. So will they go away? Maybe. That being said, it's not a, like Rob said, it's not a panic. There's literally enough wassers and everything else to go around forever, for a long, 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 long time. There won't be any shortage soon, so don't go creating one. Anyhow, what could you create one? I don't know. I guess you could, but yeah, I don't know. Is everyone going to run out to buy the mighty wasser? A lot of people already got them, you know. So who knows? It was just that lower end entry level gun that now is no longer one, entry level priced, two, attractive enough to an entry level buyer, and certainly not in the gun shop being marketed to the first time entry level buyer. So what's it got going for it? Reliability and stuff to guys that know already, but you were selling those to the impulse buyers and the first time buyers and that kind of thing. So you lose that, not by not having them in the shop, and it's done. And Century has all the motive in the world to sell their Visca because it's their money in it, right? Anyhow, let's see. What do you guys got to say about it? Pioneer 556 equals $500 plus or minus. At $500, why not take a shot and see, right? The newer Wasser 10s are not made at the military plant anymore anyway, are they? Mine has another name stamp on the receiver in front of Cugir. Yeah, Romarm or Romar, something like that. I don't, you know, I haven't looked at them long enough. Yeah, Ross said Romarm. I know the 9mm stuff. There's, let me think about this. Hold on one sec. There's two 9mm Romanian guns, one made by Cougar, one not. There's also Dracos that are Cougar and some that are not. And you don't want to buy the ones that are not, from what I've heard. And if you are going to buy a Romanian gun, why not buy the Cougar? But the Wassers, if it's got Wasser on it, I'm pretty sure Cougar's making it. that Romarm name has been on Wassers for some time. I got to do a little research on that and figure out the difference in Wassers, if there is a difference or if it's just a SKU / furniture. That's what I thought it was. I don't know. There was also the years ago. There's a Wasser 10, and there was a Wasser G. Was it a G? What the hell was it? They were a G, not G code, but oh shit, I forget. Anyhow, yeah, I think anything Wasser was made at Cugir. I don't know. Century Arms now has the BFT also, which is a bulge forged trunnion gun. Yes. What a treat. What's a treat, Martin? Anyhow, yeah, so Cugir, it's interesting. Well, I'd hate to see him go away. I truly hope that they, one, either start their own thing here just like Zastava did, or they find a new importer that might have it a little rough at first, but because Century does one thing and one thing well. They do have that network or whatever they do on their end, man. When they get something in and they push it, it's everywhere, right? And there's no reason, especially through the COVID and all that, and all the buying frenzies, you didn't see them. They weren't out there. Why not? I talk about a missed opportunity. Maybe they're looking at that too, and they're pissed. I'd be pissed if I was Cugir too, because yeah, they haven't been pushing them. They should import through SDS like Gerson does. Yeah, somebody like that. Somebody that's established, and bring them in. That'll give them their fair shake. I'm telling you, when it comes to that stuff, any stuff really, put in a gun shop, it'll sell. So you got to get it in the shops, and they're just not doing it. I would be pissed too. I'd be having a come to Jesus meeting with Century. And it sounds kind of like that's what he did. The key here is, does this new guy and the rest of whoever, the board at Cugir, now look at the U.S. market and go, you know what? It's just not profitable. So forget it. Let's go concentrate, get some more military contracts somewhere, something, whatever. That's what you got to be afraid of. So I don't know. Maybe it's time for a Wasser video, huh? I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think? Real quick here, and then I'll let you guys go. But let's go over to gun show I went to Sunday. So being stuck at home, the cold weather, winter, all that, not getting out to shoot much, even though I could step out my door here and shoot, just haven't. It's been so cold and everything. I thought I saw a sign for a gun show. They put them on every street corner around, right? And just said gun show, whatever, Friday through Sunday. I didn't even notice where. I just thought, it's got to be close here, fairground or something. So my wife was going out of town. She said, yeah, go while I'm out of town. And then Friday came. I want to go Friday because that's when you see the most stuff, right? Before it sells out Friday, Saturday. But I didn't have any money, one. So I thought, and it was late Friday. I'd only catch an hour of it. Saturday I had to work, so same thing. So Sunday morning, bright and early, I got up and I thought, and I had read some comments about this particular show. Oh, I got there on Sunday morning and they were already packing up to go. I thought, it's either going to be a bust or whatever. Some guys bitching about $8 to get in. I'm thinking $8, that's cheap entertainment. It's less than a movie. So anyhow, it was at a fairground in at least one county over, maybe two. It took me about 35 minutes to get there. So I got up, I head out that way, and it was a great morning, actually. I'm driving, it was sunny, and I had never been this particular way it was a highway, I guess, one lane each way, 55, whatever. but sort of a back road, And I'm driving, I'm looking at the country and the farms and houses, little quaint towns, and it was just a gorgeous area. It got really hilly. I was like, wow, man, maybe I shouldn't have bought my place. Maybe I should have looked some more. This is gorgeous over here, but my place is going to be gorgeous. But just such a nice area, nice little towns and everything. I thought, God, I'm having a great morning, right? I'm loving life. And I even said something in my head. I said, thank you, God, for what a wonderful day. And look at everything you've made. I mean, just fabulous. And pull right into this fairground, and I go in, and the lot's got quite a few people. When I walk in the door, it's kind of jammed, and take my money, and there's tables right away. And I start looking, and some pretty good stuff. And what I saw here that I hadn't seen in Illinois in years and years and years was private tables. So most everything at these shows down there, first of all, you got to get past the beef jerky guy and the guy selling socks and underwear, and there's a licorice guy and all this other crap, right? It's gun shows have turned into flea markets basically. But there's no real private tables in Illinois. Back when I was a kid, my dad would go in Illinois to the Lake County Gun Show. It was held at a fairground there. And it was all private tables. And my dad would get a private table, and I'd go with, and I'd lug the rifles out of the truck and set everything up. And he'd be doing the price tags and stuff. It was his personal stuff that he was either selling off or maybe looking to trade, or it got him out there and he had fun. And it was so fun back then. God, that's back when you'd walk down an aisle and there's some guy, I don't know if it was FFL, whatever, but I remember a fishbowl, a big fishbowl like this, and it had these metal parts in it. And I looked, I grabbed one, I said, Dad, what's this? He's like, oh, those are auto sears. That's before they were banned, Yeah, in a fishbowl. You could buy, I don't know, you had to deal I don't know the prices back then. I was a little guy, but I think it was like 3 for $40 or something like that. I don't know. Now look what a registered auto sear brings. But yeah, there was all kind. Man, back then gun shows were unbelievable. But Illinois had turned into all just FFLs and whatnot. Well, here they have a lot of private tables. So you were seeing a lot of older guys, old farmers, and the stuff is coming out of the woodwork, right? Maybe they're getting older. They thought, I'll sell some of this off or whatever. Man, there was so much cool shit. There were FFLs too, and even they had some neat stuff. So first aisle, I'm walking down and see a table AKs. There's a ZPAP underfolder, and he's got a fixed stack next to it, and he's got a Wasser underfolder, which I don't have. A few other things, and a young guy's looking at him, and he says, oh, I just got one of these. I said, oh, you got an underfolder, huh? Yeah. I forget what he said, but anyways, I said, are you sure these just came out? Because he said he had it for a while. And it turned out he had an M70 AB2. And I was telling him about different features and things, and he's like, he didn't know anything. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it, Mags, parts, Bakelite, cheap. I'm going down this aisle, and I look, and there's a guy, late 60s maybe, and he's got a table. He's got a couple M1 Grands. He's got a M1 carbine. Got some AK stuff, and I look, and there's an AMD, Hungarian AMD, with blue polymer foregrip and grip. We all know the Hungarian blue furniture, right? And welded and pinned muzzle device on it. Nice AMD. And he was only asking $1,200. To me, that sounded like a deal. I've never had an AMD. Kind of be cool for the collection. AMDs to me are like, you're collecting, you're collecting, and you're collecting, and it's one of the last ones you collect, right? Because it's kind of weird. You have the side folding stock, wire stock, and everything, and it was really nice. And $1,200, and that was without working them. I'm sure I could have worked them, but I'm not going to work somebody. I don't have any money to buy it with me. But I thought, man, I took his number, in case. But we got to talking about the old days and different stuff. I get to the next aisle, and ooh, there's a Mac 90 in a thumbhole stock. And I asked the guy, do you know if it's a straight receiver or not? He says, I'm really not sure. I don't know. And I'm looking, I kind of thought it was a slant receiver, but I thought, and he was only asking $900, $800, which a couple of years ago, I think too much money, but now, I don't know. And it was mint. It was nice. Ton of M1 Grands all over the place. Couple Winchesters, M1 Grands, pretty rare gun. A tanker, M1 Grand tanker. I'd never seen one in person. I'd seen somewhere there's a couple people or companies that were cutting them off and redoing them. This was an original tanker. Man, what a cool gun. I guess I knew they were out there. I'd never had seen one in person. Then there was a guy that did nothing but German Mausers. Had a full table of Mausers. And what he said, this one over here, because I asked him, I said, I don't know a lot about Mausers, but I'd like one for my World War II collection. I said, my son has a Russian Capture that is now mine. When he passed away, obviously I got his stuff, but nice gun, but it's a Russian Capture. It's got different butt plate and stuff. I'd like a wartime German Mauser in nice shape, nice wood, decent bluing and everything. I don't want a piece of junk. He said, well, I said, what am I going to pay? What's going rate, And he said, well, see this rack over here? I said, yeah. And they're kind of beaterish, right? And they went at the top were the worst ones and went down as they got better. And they were priced, I think low end was maybe 800. High end on that side was, no, maybe there were some lower. High end might have been about 12, 1300. And he called them his children of a lesser god. They were just not so nice, or wood, or maybe some mismatch, or maybe God knows what. He said, if you want a nice example, because I told him I like nicer wood, doesn't have to be mint. I'd love a mint one, unissued or something, but that'd be hard to find, I guess. And I don't know if they exist, but I'd like nice wood, nice bluing. He said, well, over here is the collectible stuff, this rack. And they kind of averaged around 1,500 to $2,000. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it made sense, basically in the same price range that Grands are going. And there was one really nice one. Nice wood, but not like restocked. Nice bluing, showing a little bit of wear, maybe 85% or so. And it was 1944, I believe. And that was in that 1,500, $2,000, and then it went up from there. Some rare marks and different stuff and whatever. We get to talking, and turns out he's 5 minutes from my new place. He says, well, he goes, I pass that way just about every day. You'll know it's me when you find my beer cans. I guess he drinks all the way to town, throws his beer cans out the window or something. He goes, I'll be looking for your place next time I'm driving into town. He goes, you'll have to stop out. I'm 5 minutes away. Come on by the house and I'll show you the good stuff, So that was a good guy. Who knows? Maybe he's an axe murderer. I don't know. Didn't seem like it, but he was a little out there. He had signs all over his booth. There was one on another AK. It was what the hell was it? I think it was a Chinese Might have been a milled Chinese gun. And the sign mints no words. It says, "Don't fucking touch me, you fucker." right on the sign. Sorry about the language, guys. And everywhere. And then he had signs. If you're from effing Illinois, you can't touch my guns and I can't do business with you. You right on the signs. And I was almost kind of like, don't want to talk to him, kind of. But then I asked him that question about what would I expect to pay for, and he turned out to be the nicest guy. It was just, maybe that's a running joke at the gun shows. He does that or something. But yeah, there were some multiple signs everywhere about Illinois people. We can't sell you guns. You can't even touch one, I guess, because of the FOI card or something. But yeah, it seemed like they were not just warning Illinois people so they wouldn't waste their time, but actually not wanting them there. How's that sound? Yeah, you could tell by the tone of things. And anyways, this guy's a super nice guy. He lives close, so we'll see. Just seems like one of those old, he seems like an older, maybe a Vietnam vet, and they just, the way he dresses and everything, but nice enough guy and very knowledgeable. And what else did I see? Oh, there's a FN, what is it, PS2000, the 5.7 gun. Real nice one, brand new in the box. All kinds of good stuff. Ammo, a lot of World War II American stuff that you just don't see a lot of. A lot of collectible AKs. All kinds of good stuff, man. World War II surplus. It was like being a kid again when you'd go in the surplus store and it was all World War II stuff instead of, Middle Eastern Desert Storm stuff. What else was there? God, I could name off a million things. Just cool stuff everywhere. I enjoyed talking to people. There was very little booths outside of guns. There was one T-shirt end, but they were all gun T-shirts and Trump T-shirts, stuff like that. Some reloading guys, all good stuff. And I got to see some stuff that few things I had never seen, and other stuff that I would be happy to put in my collection. If only I had the do-re-mi to do it. And good price, decent prices. There was nothing I saw out there. Like when the old guy brings his stuff, gets a table, and he's only there to hang with his buddies and chew the fat, because all the prices on his guns are so astronomical. He's just there to show off his collection, basically. So yeah, that was there. I buy old FN. I'm an addict. Yeah, there were a couple. That's a couple other things. There were some FNFALs. God, I'm trying to think. A lot of Colt single actions. Tons of nice old lever guns, Winchesters. A lot of Model 12 shotguns in really good shape. There was a guy that had the flamethrowers and the 40 millimeter launchers, all that stuff. What else? God, what did I stop at the one table for? A guy had something neat. It was AK related, and I talked to him for a long time. I can't remember the hell we were talking about. Anyhow, it's just one table to the next, and it was all good people, guys willing to talk, not your typical gun show assholes, guys walking around with guns with flags on them for sale, signs on them, private tables, private companies, or private people selling their stuff, FFL, a little bit of everything. It was just so good and so much fun, even though I didn't buy a damn thing, nothing. I wish I could have. I mean, it was more good stuff than I had seen in the last 5 to 10 shows down south. And this was just a small show from what everyone said, but it was good size. And there's another one coming up in another town that I'm going to go check out. It's just good to go see, get a feel for the market and talk to guys and whatever. So, and maybe meet some people too, because, I'm new to this area. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys have some gun shows in your area that are just as cool. It's neat when, I just had the feeling walking in and even looking at the guys at the tables that I don't know if it's the state or this area or what, but it seemed like just the good stuff was coming out of the closet, older guys bringing their stuff in, maybe getting rid of something, but they weren't crazy. The prices were good and they were nice and they were willing to barter, but not in an asshole kind of way. Just, God, it was so good. You know what I think it is? It's always been this way. Way back when I first came to Wisconsin, way back before I was married, I always used to say people are just nicer. And I agree. You come north of the border and people are just nicer. That's why I like it. I don't know what it is. I don't. Maybe it's a little slower pace. I don't know. Maybe it's more rural. That has a lot to do with it, because even where I lived down south for a while, it was rural and people were nicer than as you get toward the city. But I think that's with any city. But yeah, God, it was just, I could feel it, that the good stuff comes out, and these older guys that had put this stuff away forever are now starting to let go of it. And it's good to see, it's good to see it coming around. Not that I feel sorry for them, that they feel that they need to start turning it. Maybe they're counting their days, or they're feeling their age, or who knows. Hopefully it's not the politics of the whole thing, or the mindset. Maybe their kids getting all lived out and putting some pressure on dad. If that ever happened to me, you know what I'd say, right? Anyhow, and for the first time, I think the first time ever, or in my adult life, I should say, that I went to a gun show and there wasn't an ATF booth right at the door. Illinois, when I go down there, always seem like they have an ATF booth right there. Let you know they're walking around, And I assume there may have been somebody there, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? I didn't see anything illegal. I didn't see anything. As a matter of fact, I saw background checks being done and all that stuff. So much for the gun show loophole, huh? Anyhow, yeah, it was so much fun. I hated to leave. I want to stay. Looked at everything twice, I think. I like going back down, because sometimes you miss things, especially little stuff. When you first get to a show, you're walking down the aisle, that your eyes go to the bigger things and things that catch your eye, rifles. Then I like to go back and I like to look at the little trays of parts or mags and little things, and all of a sudden it picks up. Oh, look at that! Cool. There's a front sight block for this, or whatever the case may be. Stuff like that, And sometimes you find some really neat stuff. Stuff maybe you didn't even know was out there, or you'd maybe seen years ago and hadn't seen one since. That kind of thing. So it's really cool. A lot of wheel guns, man. A lot of nice old Smiths. A lot of nice Colts. Stuff commanding big dollars too. Yeah, just God. I wish I could think of more of that was there. A couple SP1s that in great shape, and they're some other collectible ARs, Colts, a lot of neat stuff all the way around. So, a lot of guys kind of poo-poo gun shows, because the last 2 or 3 they've been to have been jerky, sweat sock type of shows. And they say, you know what, it's not worth my $5 or whatever, and they don't go anymore. Well, maybe take a drive in the country a little further than you would one you've never been to before and check it out. You might just get lucky. But I got a feeling that most of Wisconsin shows are probably more like this one. So let's see what you guys say. I don't think Century cares. Like you said, they are pushing their American-made guns. Absolutely. I think that's what it is. They should have. Okay, we read that one. Just got a new DS Arms bush tracker. I was at DS Arms last fall, I think, with a friend of mine that lives down there. And they have a retail store too, not just where they build them. And they had one there. A good-looking gun, man. You should be proud to have that one. Very, very nice gun. I buy old FN. I am addicted. You see mine, right? Did you watch my video on my FN? It's just a little bit rare. You must have seen it, right? Matter of fact, I keep that gun close to me. Matter of fact, it might be 2 arm reaches away. How's that sound? Ross, should I buy my Sega Russian AK? Should I keep my Sega? What is it, an SGL? Let me know. The Gen 1 and 2 Colts get stupid money. Oh, yeah. Insane. My dad was one of the largest private collectors of Colt single actions in the day. Gen 1, Gen 2. He wasn't Gen 3 guy. I got a couple of the special ones left. And one day I will do a video on them. But, yeah, especially one super special one that was engraved by Alvin White. If you know Colts, you'll know who Alvin White was. He was a master engraver. And it's all documented, Colt Historical Society, the whole thing. You didn't see I only have one FN video. It's an FAL. Very, very special. Very special. Back in the day, that certain organization paid a whole lot of attention to them when they came in. Know what I mean? If you're an FN guy, Martin, you know what I'm talking about. You don't know what? Oh, come on. Back in the 80s, FNFALs were coming in, Belgian made. This particular one was labeled Match 308, long flash hider, bipod, factory, all factory. And FN did a boo-boo. They made a boo-boo. And the ATF didn't like it too much. They cut off the importation, and there were only a handful that got in. And I got one of them. You'll go find my video on it. It's going to ruin your whole evening. They're called sear cut receivers. So there were a handful that FN brought in, Belgian made, originals. I mean, they're the coolest thing you ever seen. It might have been optional, but it came with the factory bipod. It came with the long flash hider, all of that. and it had a sear-cut receiver, meaning it's a semi-automatic gun, but there was this handful that got approved, got in, and then the ATF realized, uh-oh, yeah, the receivers are all done, and with very little effort, you can make it rock and roll. So they cut off importation, and they grandfathered the ones that were in. And yeah, they're called sear-cut receivers. And you look at the bottom of them. Oh, go look at the video. Anyways, cool gun. I remember shooting it as a 10-year-old at the range. And all I remember is 308. And when me and my brother were filling magazines, 22 Ruger mags for our 1022. And we're talking, and my dad lights this thing up. And when that round went off, just, I don't know if it was the flash height or the what, but the concussion, and I swore the ground shook. The 22s went flying everywhere. I just remember the punch of that rifle. I didn't care if you were standing behind it, next to it. Oh, my God. We always talked about it. But, okay, I will buy it. Take a look at some closed auctions and then tell me. They're insane. And the prices have dropped on them. I was a little shocked at how low they had gotten, but they're still ridiculous. Anyhow, they're interesting. And this one's mint. Absolutely mint. Probably one of the nicest ones you'll see anywhere. I'd say at the top end, it had 4 mags through it, maybe. Yeah, this, don't get me wrong, they're not full auto. It's a semi-auto gun, and they're legal unless you do what it takes to make it not legal. And the gun's too valuable to do anything to. That's what people don't realize, I think. Think about it. Somebody converts something illegally, right? What's it worth? Nothing. You can't sell it. Who's going to buy it? You destroyed the value of a gun by doing it. So you got to be a retard to do that, especially on something like that. Let me guess. No, he had a good friend that was an FFL in a northern suburb, and they were good friends. They went all over the country shooting and doing stuff. This guy used to be on the cover of some of these gun books. They'd gun pricing books and different gunsmithing books and stuff. He'd always be on the cover as one of the guys working on a gun or something. It was called The Marksman, actually, in Glenview, Illinois. And Mr. Krebs got his start there. Mark Krebs was the 45 1911 Smith there before he became an AK Smith. And he was there when my dad was there. And kind of funny that fast forward 50 years or so, and now I'm friends with Mark Krebs, and my dad knew him all the way back then. But this particular shop had all the cool high-end stuff. And some of it back then wasn't high-end, but I think that gun was probably considered high-end back then. But always nice stuff. And they knew what the good stuff was, that kind of thing. So my dad was always there 5 days a week. He was probably stopped in or hung out there or whatever, and always got super nice stuff. And I don't know if they knew what those were then, and he just lucked into it, or if they knew, hey, these are the one you want, and there's not many more, and there's no more coming. Maybe they told him back then, but I think so, because he knew it from the beginning. I think one time he said that he had a letter on it or something, but I know you don't need a letter to own it today. It is what it is. And I want to say there were two different ones. There were the Steyr import or Steyr Belgian FN ones, and then there were a few from another importer, but all total it amounted to less than 2,000 guns, I think. And you can search Gunbroker and everything for months on end and not see one, and all of a sudden you'll see one pop up. I think there was one on there not too long ago. Might still be on there. I don't know. Some are lesser quality because people didn't know what they had, and others are mint, nice. Of all the ones I've seen come up, probably, I don't know, 10, 15 of them, and they all went somewhere between 15 grand and 20 grand, something like that. But now the prices have dropped substantially, at least by the auctions I'm seeing. And I had an FFO confirm to me that right now, if you have anything very collectible, nice, whether it's a Colt single action or it's a rare pre-ban or something, that prices are just way down on that stuff right now because of the economy and everything, way down. So if you got cash, it's a good time to buy. But if you don't need to sell something, it's not a good time to sell it. So take that for what it's worth. But I saw it reflected in auctions for these particular type of FNs. I don't know. Go take a look. Check out the video. And I think you'll like it. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. It's not a shooting video. It's just tabletop review kind of thing. But you'll like it. You'll like the backdrop, too. It's a northern Wisconsin backdrop. I once brought it out to a testing shoot we were doing with Mark Krebs when he was testing his 9x39 AK that he made. Right before he was introducing it for sale and everything, we had done a few different shoots where we were shooting a couple different prototypes. One was in the raw metal, I believe, at the time. And one was, there were two original guns, a green, OD green one, and another one. You can see that video. I was shooting it silenced, and with the guys from Circle 10 AK, and Krebs and me and another guy, Fabrizio from El Tenda's channel. And I don't know if we were releasing that video at the time. I don't think he wanted us to release it because he hadn't released it yet. And he was trying to be the first one out with that 9x39 platform. He had stockpiled ammo for sale. Liberty had done the cans for it and everything, working with him, and we were filming all of it and had all this video stockpiled of it. And we were out at Circle 10 AK's place in Wisconsin at their private range, and we were filming us shooting it. There's video of it. You can go see it. And I brought that FN out. And I set it down. I said, hey, guys, anybody wants to shoot it, feel free. And Mark looked at me. He says, you should just put that thing away. He was worried about it, because it was collectible. So, yeah, you talk about heavy hitting, man. I love that round. I absolutely love it. When we were doing those videos, I said to Mark, I got to have one of these. But at the time, it didn't make any sense because there is and there isn't. But the truly amazing thing and the point to that whole round and a platform to shoot it is how well it suppresses. Go watch the video on it that I have. And what you hear there is absolutely what you would hear standing right next to it. I'm too stupid to change audio and all that stuff. I know how to cut and clip, and that's it. Maybe throw a picture in here and there. I am not a video editor. That was with a shotgun mic aimed right at the side of the receiver from not even 10 feet away. And it's the quietest suppressed gun, period. Well, maybe not as quiet as some subsonic 22, but it's ungodly quiet for a rifle caliber round. I mean, you don't need muffs at all, period. Shoot it all day. When that round hits something, the best way I can equate the sound is if you had a puddle below you where there was mud in it, but the mud was not soupy or watery, but pretty darn thick, like almost dry, and you dropped a brick into it flat. Whack. That's what they sound like. It's like you hit the side of a side of beef with a sledgehammer. That's the sound. And man, when those things ricochet too, they'll hit something. We were shooting those same guns, testing them, earlier testing at my buddy Jake's place. Somebody mentioned Too Fat Tactical and what happened. He just hasn't, he didn't do much with the channel, that's all. And then just work and different stuff, just didn't get out there as much. But I would love to do something with Jake. Jake's the most awesome dude. He epitomizes Wisconsin. He really does. Just super hardworking dude. Can fix anything, make anything, make something work when you've run out of ideas, that kind of stuff, and give you the shirt off his back all at the same time. One of those guys that money's not important, life is more important, friends are more important, good things are more important, kind of thing. I miss him. I haven't seen him in quite a while, but I've just been I haven't seen any of my friends in a while. I've been so busy. But these rounds, we were there, and thank God where we shoot there is literally in a bowl with 5 stories all around us. A bullet can't get out of there if it tried. But you'd hit something or whatever, and you'd hear them fwang, like a cartoon almost. I mean, I thought, oh my God, these things, I just picture them just tumbling away as they ricochet. I mean, we were all like, oh, geez, did you hear that? But when they hit something, oh my Lord, it's the coolest looking bullet because it's an AK round just necked up with this big, fat, tubby bullet in it. And just cool looking. But then when the Russian ammo thing happened, now what? Now, where do you get that ammo? You know, it's going to be expensive, but what a cool gun. I mean, if you wanted a CQB gun or a gun, personal protection in the house, or you were doing CQB or an operator, oh my God. Talk about a gun the size of an MP5, maybe, with the Liberty can on it. That ain't your mama's 9mm, that's for sure. Holy Christ. And that's what Spetsnaz developed that whole thing for. It was literally to take people off their feet, put them down one round, you know, and that it would. It's amazing, but I've never heard a rifle round, I don't care, 300 blackout, you name it, that suppresses better than that round. In that video, if you go watch it, all you'll hear is the bolt clacking. Crazy, absolutely crazy, for a round that hits that hard. And I mean, Christ, what is it, a 230 grain bullet or something like that? Damn. Yeah, no, thank you. Don't want to get hit with that. There are really big shows in PA. I can walk for 8 hours until the meat comes off. A matter of fact, me and my buddy Jake, Too Fat Tactical, had planned to go to the world's largest gun show. I think it's Oklahoma. That I hear if you're looking for something, even the rarest thing, and you go there, there'll be at least 3 of them. They said, I forget how many acres and how, if you walked all the tables, how many miles, but it's insane. There's videos on it. And then we were about to go and they cut it off for COVID. We're going to take the motorhome there, spend the weekend. You can stay at a local campground at a casino. We're going to have some nice buffet dinners and maybe a little gambling at night. And, movie night on the outside TV on the RV, and gun show all day. And then COVID, and we couldn't go. It sucked. I should get it going again. That'd be fun. It'd be a good video too. It's just billed as the largest gun show in the world, and it's true. But I've never seen a gun show that big, like you're talking about in Pennsylvania. Speaking of Pennsylvania, your House passed an assault weapon bill today. Either the House or Senate passed an assault weapon bill today. So now it's passed. It's come out of committee. Everything is ready to go. They can vote on it at any time. They could do like Illinois and hold a late session or something and vote it in. And from what I understand, they haven't. This thing has come all the way there to where it's at without any public comment. I would be on the phone tonight with your representatives and your senators. You guys might wake up screwed, literally. If it's today, tomorrow, whatever. What I understand, they have a majority, it could pass. And then if it makes the governor's desk, well, guess what? I lived in Illinois. Chicago has wrecked that state. Yes, it has. Pennsylvania, though, your governor, he said something about this bill that we've got bigger fish to fry or something than an assault weapon ban. We've got the strictest laws, but he has never once come out and stated that he is pro Second Amendment, and he has never had a bill come in front of him. So people have a sneaking suspicion that he might just sign it if it gets to him. And it'll pass if they bring it to vote. So you guys need to get on the phone, send letters, and I mean immediately, because they could call a vote tomorrow and you're done. I wonder if it's even hit the papers or news by you guys that they passed it today. Was it today or yesterday? I think it was today. Guns and Gadgets had a video on it. Go watch it. It sounds so familiar to what Illinois went through and is going through. Counter to our Supreme Court and everything else, they don't care, because if they pass it, the lawsuits will hit immediately, but it'll be 10 years till you get it back, if you do. Think about it. It's such bullshit. Yeah, not for long. They just voted, I'm telling you, they just voted the assault weapon ban, and it's ready for final vote. From what Mr. Guns and Gadgets says, it's got a great chance of passing. And he's not confident that the governor will stop it. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he thinks he'll just sign it up and be done. It's happening everywhere, guys. Everywhere. You need to be on it. You need to be watching it. And you need to be writing letters, making phone calls, saying, look, we are not giving one more inch. Nothing. There is no compromise. There is no common sense. However you pronounce his name, Kalan Noir, whatever his name is, he had an interesting video. He played a talk show from England. And it's a bunch of people on this TV show having a roundtable conversation about banning knives. Think about that. And they're talking about it. We need common sense legislation. And everything. It's all the same. Like ghost guns, they have zombie knives. Zombie knives, the big, whatever, Rambo-looking knives and all. They are seriously, the big debate there now is outlawing knives. And the entire conversation, the terms they use, the way they go about it, everything is just like they're having here on assault weapon bans, ghost guns, all that stuff. Common sense. Well, your 13-year-old can get his hands on it through the internet. They'll sell it to him. Oh, my God. And I thought, well, the argument's the same, right? Well, if the gun had a wood stock, they wouldn't mind, even though it's the same gun, right? So a butcher knife with a wooden handle from your kitchen, that's okay, but make it look like a Rambo knife, and it's not okay. It's the same thing. My point is, they are never happy. They got the guns there. They got the guns in England, right? And we all joked that they'll just kill each other with knives. And yeah, it's upticked, right? Or maybe it hasn't. Maybe that's just the media. But now they're coming after knives. They will never stop. Never, ever, ever, ever will they stop. There's nothing common sense. It's only we just want this. Oh, no, don't worry about your pistols, your handguns, your hunting rifles. No, we just want these. There's no need for these weapons of war. And that's what they call them, Rambo knives, weapons of war, zombie knives. Serious debate by these three liberal dudes, a couple of them black, sitting around the table, talking about it just like gun control. They will never be happy till they 100%, 150% disarm you. They took the guns, now they're taking their knives. Their knives. What's next? Toasters? I'm not kidding you. His whole point to this is, it ain't about common sense. It ain't about assault weapons. It ain't about pistols. It's about everything. They want you not to be able to fight back. And why is that? Because they are 100% positive you're not going to like what they're going to do to you. Matter of fact, they're so positive that they are 100% sure that what they do to you, you're not going to like so much that you're going to want to kill them. That's what they're after. They're not stopping at assault weapons. They're not stopping at ammo. They're not stopping at pistols or full automatics or silencers or bump stocks or braces. They're not stopping at any of it. It's a joke. If you are that friggin' dumb to believe it, then you deserve it. You deserve what's coming for you. Yeah, common sense, gun laws, common sense. Same thing with the knives, identical. Go to his channel and watch it. You won't believe it. Yeah, if I knew how to clip that part of the video and put it in one line, I'd show it to you. It's unbelievable. Knives. What will be then? Slingshots? Those are probably already illegal. Brass knuckles are illegal. Slingshots are illegal. They are. A lot of states. Knives are illegal if they're longer. Used to be the rule was this on the blade, right? From here to here. Why can't you carry a hunting knife on your pants, on your belt? They want everything. They want everything. You can't give 1 inch, not one law, not one anything, not a part, not a type of ammunition, not a silencer, not a full auto. Matter of fact, the only common sense is that they return our rights they already took. Every one of them. I should be able to own a full automatic gun. You should be able to own. I should be able to own a vehicle-mounted belt-fed 50. Grenades. Anything. Anything I want, I should be able to own. It's my right. You don't give me those rights. People forget the Constitution does not tell you what you have to abide by. It tells the government what they can't do. Constitution has to do with them, not me. It says, Mr. Government, you can't do this. It's not giving me my rights. My rights are God-given by my Creator. I am here, therefore I have these rights. I exist, therefore I have these rights. Not, the government allows me to have this right. No. People misunderstand it completely. Go read it. Go read it. It tells the government what they cannot do. And they cannot deprive me of my right to protection and my right to overthrow a tyrannical government by force if necessary. That's what it does. I love the way they phrase it. It's awesome. I'll read it next time. The sooner you realize that they can't do that, that's what the Second Amendment says. They cannot infringe on your right to own any type of arms. None. Zero. We lost the meaning somewhere. We allowed it to be twisted by politicians and attorneys working for those politicians to where we look at commas and, well, no, it's the most plain thing there is. It has nothing to do with hunting. It has nothing to do with protection or protecting my family. It has to do with, it was so important, the Second Amendment, your ability to arm yourself and fight back against those who would oppress you because they had been oppressed by Britain. They had been oppressed. Their army was being tyrannical. Their government was being tyrannical. And they said, enough's enough. That's why they made it the Second Amendment right next to free speech. Even free speech is being infringed on right here, right now. People don't get it. People don't get it. I truly believe that if the founders were still around today, that this country would look completely different right now because they wouldn't put up with it for 30 seconds. Christ, they put it up. They wouldn't put up with a 2-cent tax on tea. They said enough's enough, right? The problem is we don't want revolution. We don't want a civil war. We don't want any of those things because it looks a lot different and it's not good for anybody. And the problem is that at the end of the day, when everybody's had enough of enough because it's so shitty and you're sacrificing so much and there's shortages and everything's just crap, right? That when everybody's had enough, guess what happens? In comes the knight on the white horse. Except he's not a knight, and that's a black horse disguised as a white horse. And he says, I'm here to save the day. And nothing could be further from the truth. So careful what you wish for. We need to work hard at solving this peacefully in the right way, getting our rights back. We haven't lost our rights. We've given them away because nobody likes change. Nobody changes. No one likes big change. So they chip away at it inch by inch where you're not even realizing you're losing it. It took all these regulations going way back, right? The National Gun Control Act, all this stuff until, 10, 20 years ago? 20 years ago, we realized, wait a second. Compromise. We've given up. I lost this. I gave up that. Can't have these anymore. I can't get one of these from that country. I'm a felon if I do this. That plastic part, they said I could have, gave me permission to have. Now will put me in prison for 10 years. Wait a second. Do I really have any rights anymore? No, you gave them all away. Because it was compromise. It was the right thing to do. It fit the narrative at the time. Well, it's just this. We can be without that. It won't stop. It won't stop with your hunting guns. It won't stop with black. Ask Canada. It won't stop with black powder. It won't stop with knives. Go over to Cologne Noir's channel and watch that video. It's shocking. You won't believe how exact, not similar, exact duplicate of the anti-gun rhetoric is now on knives. And when they accomplish it here, they'll move on to that. It's proof in the pudding that there's no common sense. It's their whacked out, you know, they've gotten the people whacked out, but the ones pushing it know exactly what they're doing. They want you disarmed. And the push is on right now. Now, if they don't get it accomplished now, it's the best time for them to get it accomplished. They have the best shot at it. You need to stop it. You need to fight against it. Nothing. You don't take one more inch. Nothing. You want something done, you give me something back. Or maybe I'll just take it. Might come to that one day. England would ban boxing gloves. Yeah, think about it. Ban these nuts. Yeah. I get it, man. I get it. But it's not funny anymore. It really isn't. It really isn't. Because it won't be funny when you got to watch your wives, your kids suffer because of somebody else's grand plan, scheme, harebrained. When people have that much money, they literally, I think it warps them. They get this God complex, right? That they know better. Let me ask you something. What does a computer programmer have to do or make? What makes him an expert on vaccines, epidemics? Ask yourself, why? How is he even involved in that conversation? Because he has no knowledge. He's a fucking idiot. The only knowledge he has is what he wants to do because all of that money, power, whatever he has warped his outlook. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They have this false sense that they can save the world through their moronic ideas. And they want you to voluntarily join in. And when you won't, they'll take away your ability to fight back. And that's what they're doing. Pure and simple. It's been going on forever. For those of you that want to say, oh, that's all conspiracy theory, that's all this. Did you ever think you'd be where we're at today 3 years ago? Let alone at this speed? Call it what you will. But as you're falling asleep tonight, think to yourself, you're not letting this out to friends, coworkers that might think you're some whack job, right? That's what you think. But your common sense, your gut tells you that, yeah, it's true. It's true. You just don't want to think about it. You don't want to think because you feel powerless to change it. And you are in a lot of ways. You are. What are you going to do? I got my guns. I walk down the driveway. Ready, guys. Nobody's standing there, right? It's not about that. It's about change, not putting up with the things they're pushing. And what can you do? Use government, use our legal system, use your God-given rights as a citizen to let them know that you know, and it's not going to work. And if that's what they want to push, that you will vote them out of office. I give Brandon Herrera a lot of credit. A couple of years ago, he was a kid on YouTube making funny videos, right? He's running for Congress. You think he ever thought of that? Probably scares the shit out of him every day. But he's doing it. It's the same guy that everyone laughed at about an AK-50, right? But he did it. You can do it. Go run for school board. Go run for town office. Go run for mayor. Set your sights high. It takes money. What does that take? Knocking on some doors. Getting in contact with the right people, whether it's church, town, this, that, the other. Grassroots. Get it done. It starts, all of this craziness starts at local levels, because what's around you and what controls you around you starts at a local level. It all breeds from there. You knock it out there and start working out. Otherwise, they work in. Think about it long and hard. I want you to do that. When you lay your head down tonight to go to sleep, you got all these problems, life, this, that, kids, wife, work, money, whatever it is. Think about it for a minute. Does your common sense, does your gut tell you that, yeah, there's bad forces at work? And it ain't about all the crap you see on the news about 1% of this and this crazy group and that crazy group. It has nothing to do with it, right? They're 1/10 of 1%. The reason you're watching them on the news with all these crazy stories is distraction and separation. They want to divide you into the smallest group possible. We'll put them over there and them over there, and they hate them, so they don't like them, and then we'll move them over here. Color, race, sexual orientation, age, all these things. Separate, conquer, and divide. When you lay your head down, think about those things tonight. Get up tomorrow and do something nice for a neighbor, a coworker, a friend that you normally wouldn't do. Maybe somebody you don't even know, to bring things back together, because it can take everybody to do the right thing and get this thing turned around. It's the first thing that happens when somebody comes after this country. Yeah, everybody joins together like you've never seen, right? Pearl Harbor, 9/11, whatever event, right? Americans are good people. We give more than anyone in the world. Yet they want to tell you how bad you are. We don't need programs in this country. We don't need handouts. You let Americans do it through charity, through charitable donations, and we will have everybody handled. Whether they need a roof over their head, somebody to talk to, food in their stomach, doctor, whatever it is, we get it handled. We're the most generous people on the planet. When I pray, I tell God that. I tell him to go a little easy on us, because these are the best people in the world. And they care about God, they care about their neighbors, they care about their family, and they care about the world. We don't want dirty water, dirty air, and crime-ridden streets. We don't want any of that. We all want our children to grow up in a better place and have more than we had. But yet, be durable, be strong, be able to support themselves, do all those things. That's why we raise them the way we do. But somehow, you're lazy, self-centered, want to do all the wrong things. That's what they'll tell you. They'll tell you that you hate this group and hate that group and shame on you and you're polluting the world and what kind of world are you living in, global warming and all these things. But nobody wants that. Nobody wants it. We may want it less than everyone else. We'd change it all if we could. And we'll try hard to. Just not through crazy ideas that do nothing but line politicians' pockets and those in the know with them, right? Yeah. By their votes, they make money for people that buy stock in green energy companies and battery companies and lithium companies while they destroy the landscape in Africa, mining cobalt and lithium. 6-year-olds barefoot in a pond of mercury. See how much they care about the environment over there. They don't show you that. No, that's pushed away to the side. It's sick, is what it is. And they're coming for it. They're coming for your knives. Go over to I don't know how to pronounce it. Calion Noir, Noir. Go to his channel and watch that video. You won't. It's the most. It hit home so hard. They're not going to stop. They're coming for knives. Knives. They got the guns already. Talk to anyone in Australia, England, Canada, all these countries that have fallen, right? Their Second Amendment, well, they don't have a Second Amendment, but their guns have been given away. They gave it away. They let them do it. And they will all tell you, don't make the same mistake we made. They're sick about it. Look what you got just north of the border. That's full blown, guys. And it's coming to a town near you. So before it happens, do something. Anything. That's all I got tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed the rest of it. I hope you take a little of what I had said to heart, because we can't do it alone. We got to do it together. You want to change the world? We can change it for way better, right? Capitalism takes over at the end of the day. The man with the best idea, it works. Nobody wants all the craziness they say we support and want, right? Nope, we want it more than they do. We're just going to do it the right way because we know how to do it, because we're smart. We have ingenuity. We have gumption, get up and go, work ethic, all those things to get it done without trying to steal it by removing someone's rights and forcing them to do things they don't want to do, don't believe in. So get her done. Get her done. Sorry to hear about Toby Keith. True American, that man. That's what, you know why people loved him and his songs? Because he was the real McCoy. He lived it. You know, you listen to lyrics to songs and you got to wonder, do they really live those lyrics, or are those just written by a songwriter? From everything I can recall and everything I hear other people saying, he was that guy. He was that guy. Look how many times he showed up in Afghanistan, everywhere, to make our troops feel a little more at home. That was a good man we lost. That's a shame, crying shame. It truly makes me sad. Truly makes me sad. The good ones always go, don't they? You guys have a nice night. I'm not here to depress you, to bring you down. I'm just here to tell you how gravely serious a lot of this is. And you want to continue to have all this fun with all this cool stuff, because I love it. It's our hobby, right? Nothing better than to go out back, go shoot, and just have a little fun. They don't want you to have that, because that fun is something serious that can take away their power, you know? So while we have fun, we got to work twice as hard at work, meaning working to stop all this. So please, please, please get an idea in your head, something you're going to do, and do it. Commit, follow through. All right, guys, I got to go. It's been a way long show. Long. Watch for next video coming up. It's going to be good. Like and subscribe. If you could, super chat would be nice. Leave a little do-re-mi to make up for their demonetization. Anyhow, thanks again, and we will see you next week or in the next video. And as always, Rockford Ordnance.